All right, gentlemen, we are live. Welcome back to the brand new episode of Galaxy of Film Live. I'm your host, Max, joined with none other than my slightly shorter co-host, Danilo. And how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Joey Chestnut won his little hot dog eating contest again. He's very happy to see it.
I saw, dude. Mason, our graphic designer, is out there filming it this weekend, actually.
Yeah. Had
Cool
one of the
shit.
most coldest entrances in sports history, man. You know what? He's a patriot, dude. I don't know if the United States government is ever gonna get like a suggestion box one day to be like, yo, Mount Rushmore's looking a bit outdated, 1700s, like whenever it got built or whatever. Like, we could put some new faces on there. Personally, dude, I put Joey up there. Joey,
Okay.
Michael Jordan, and that would really be it, man.
Joey Michael Jordan. Okay, that's your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, that could be it.
Okay, not very full, but, I'm still here for it, man. I'm
Oh,
still
Michael
here for it.
Phelps, dude. Michael Phelps. He's a tank, dude. He's a tank in the pool.
Very
Yeah.
fair. I'm here for it for Michael Phelps, man. It's been a while since I've heard that name.
Oh, and Harrison Ford, dude.
You know what, man? Harrison Ford could have been on, Mount Rushmore if a little bit of things had ended differently with this movie we'll be talking about today. But we'll get to that, of course. But yeah, good fucking pick, man. Good pick, for
Yeah,
sure.
dude. He spoke on YSL, and then he spoke on. He was in that movie Air Force One, so he was a president.
Yeah. He's the president again, man.
Yeah.
My plane.
Shout out to Harrison Ford.
So how else have you been, man? How's been going on in your life? What's new? What's been, popping lately?
Oh, and the Beast?
Mhm.
Oh, not much, man. Everything's just going okay in the Beast. Had a few days off, living life to its fullest potential. It's like 90,000 degrees over here with air quality at 109, which it's supposed to be like 40 or something. So, it's been better, but it's also been worse.
I feel you, dude. It's been hot as fuck over here, man. It's been hot as hell. I just had to do most of my yards today. Just sweat my ass off, bro.
Yeah,
Sucks.
it's brutal, dude.
It is. It's one hot ass summer, man. I think it was the 4th of July this year was the hottest, day in history. They said or something like that on the news.
Yeah, I don't get that though, man. Because the reported temp was like 68 degrees or whatever, like Fahrenheit or whatever.
Mm.
So are they pulling the entire world or whatever then?
I don't know.
I don't know, dude. What?
Wet, hot American summer.
Yeah. Shout out to Joey Chestnut.
Shout out to Joey Chestnut, man. Myself, I've been all right too. Getting ready for this episode. It's been pretty, rushing. We usually don't do our podcast on the day we upload. So this is a bit different for us. I think we've only done this 2 other times. I know the last one was for Blonde last year, and for Don't Worry, Darling. So it's kind of weird to be back in this position, man.
Wow, don't worry, darling. I know everyone revisited that movie, man.
I haven't even seen it.
Jesus Christ, man! I didn't even see a physical release for it, honestly.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I saw it at Target for $5.
I was at $5. That's terrible.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. But yeah, man, we also got Dakari coming in this week for us. What's going on, man? How have you been?
Not much, man. I've been all right. Still hanging in there, making the most out of the summer.
I
I'm
feel
still
you.
out here in the islands, been working, just doing everyday things.
Okay, good shit, man. Good shit. What have you watched lately, man? What's on your radar?
Well, actually, last night I started revisiting the Mission Impossible series.
Oh.
Yeah, so because I'm really excited for the new one coming out. So I haven't really seen the first 3, but I've seen 4 onto 6.
This one is 7 coming out, correct?
Yeah, this is 7 coming.
I must say, I saw parts of the 5th. I saw the 5th one in theaters, and I saw parts of 6 of Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, nah. I was so
You
mad.
didn't see the Henry Cavill one?
Mm.
Dang.
Because that was during COVID, wasn't it?
No,
No?
that was the year Black Panther came out.
With Henry Cavill?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
when
that
he
was-
had the mustache and they had to reshoot
Man.
parts of Justice League, and it was that whole bad CG where he had that fucked up fucking face.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fuck. Time flies, bro.
We're having fun, baby.
Good
Yeah.
shit, though, man. So are you enjoying the first 3 of them then?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the third one tonight. The first one I think is incredible.
Okay.
Brian De Palma directed the shit out of that movie.
Mm.
I'm a fan of John Woo, especially his older films when he was working with Golden Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
The second one wasn't that good to me. It was just all right. They tried to turn it into this fluffy James Bond-esque type of movie. And that's not what Mission Impossible is. You know, they try to amp up the modern day, postmodern, mainstream feel and vibe. A lot of it didn't really work for me. But the third act was really good.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I've been catching up for Insidious this week. You know, we did the live stream, or excuse me, on the podcast about 2 years ago now. God damn, Danilo, I feel old. We talked the first movie along with The Conjuring. The third one, it was, you know, upon release for that time. And I didn't get a chance to watch Chapter 2 ever. So I watched Chapter 2 last night to get prepped up for The Red Door. I'm going to go see that tonight.
What do you think of Chapter 2? What do you think of Chapter 2, man? Better than 1?
I don't think it's better than 1, but I think it's a cool movie. I like the whole stuff with Josh in the other realm, back and forth, trying to warn his family. It's definitely... I definitely have respect towards like editing goes for that first one.
Okay.
You know, I can see the effort into it. Say again?
I think 2's scarier. I don't think it's a better movie, but I think it's scarier. Like, the scares hit harder in 2 than they do in 1.
See, I don't find 2 to be a scary movie, more or less.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, like...
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, we will next week, of course, on our Insidious episode. But yeah, man, I didn't find 2 to be that scary compared to the first one. Definitely has me ramped up for the next one for tonight, man. Are you going to go see it tonight as well, Danilo?
No, probably not. I'll probably go see it Monday night.
Monday? Okay, dang, man.
Yeah.
Dang, that's disappointing. I know it's one of your most anticipated.
It is. I am excited for that. I just like that whole universe that he created, man. I never was a fan of the Saw universe, but the other 2 universes he created, what is it? The Conjuring and then the Insidious universe. I always liked those. I always thought they were cool.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with it. It's a little bit of a hot take, you know, to not like Saw compared to the other ones, but we're here for it. Only the best for your galaxy of film, man.
Yeah, because without Saw, you wouldn't have had the other 2.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. But also, speaking of things you wouldn't have, you know, if it weren't, you know, for a sequence of certain events, we got Uncle Brian joining us again this week. How are you doing, man?
Yo.
I'm doing awesome. Having a good time. It's 4th of July this week. Is crazy hot down in our part of the world. Max is like, I don't know, it's like 110 degrees or something real stupid. So that was not good, but was good. I got out to a movie, saw some family, cooked a hamburger on the grill. That was a good time. So yeah, doing pretty good and excited to talk about the conclusion here of our Indiana Jones story. You know, we were just on a couple weeks ago talking about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Last Crusade. That was a good time. So excited to get into this one.
Absolutely, man. A link down below to our episodes of that, and also you were here a few months ago when we talked Raiders and Temple of Doom, Brian. It's kind of it's nice to be able to finish and wrap up our Indy series a lot quicker than our Star Wars series, for sure.
That's right. There's fewer entries. They're just as action packed though, and just fun to talk about for sure. And excited to talk about this one.
That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right. And before we go and move on, though, real quick, what do you put on your burger, Brian? You mentioned you cooked out for the 4th of July.
Good, absolutely. So let's see, what did I do? I did a little barbecue rub on the burger itself. Okay. Then some just cheddar cheese, regular, straight, like medium cheddar. That's good on there. Then I do mayo ketchup, 2 pickle chips. Good to go. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Wow. Look at
That's
that.
a wicked burger, dude. That is a wicked. Dude, I had like 7 glizzies in 2 days.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Huh?
Like each day, though.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
Throw
Back to our TikTok from BluesCon last year. Mr. Glizzy Goblin over here, buddy.
Yeah, I'm like the next Joey Chestnut. But anyway, that's a wicked burger, dude.
Gosh, man. Yeah, usually I'm like a bacon barbecue burger kind of guy. Get some Sweet Baby Ray's, some bacon, some grilled onions on that thing, man. Some cheese and some pickles.
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. My parents were in town, so we were going pretty straightforward with it. This time, just I couldn't stand out there too long, cook anything because I was gonna die. It was so hot. I had I had a Four Loko or two in me. Couldn't stand the heat. No, just kidding. I didn't do that. Hydrating all day for sure. But yeah, the burgers were good. Seeing the family was good, and watching this movie was good. And I watched Star Wars: A New Hope on the 4th of July, which was a good time. So there you go.
Celebrating freedom the right way, man. Absolutely.
Right,
very nice.
It's been a very Lucasfilm-centric week for myself. So.
Hell yeah. Speaking real quick as well about catching on fire and whatnot, it's funny we're talking about grilling, man. Next week we're dropping my new film, Distinguished. Very excited for it. But in the process for this, there's a little bit of a tidbit I'll give you guys. Alex, our cinematographer for this piece, actually almost set a grill on fucking fire that's in the background of the shot for this whole piece. So be on the lookout. Listen to that smoke you'll see. Almost cost a life here at Galaxy of Film. But you know what? It's all good because we don't have an insurance plan just yet.
Oh wow!
And I think the last time we were on talking about Indiana Jones, Chris was on with us, and he was talking to us about his days grilling and commandeering people's grills to get out and have those cookouts.
Yeah, we used to steal them out to Great Kills Beach. Oh yeah, Kenny Rogers Chicken, peeing on the chickens.
Yeah, man.
Wow, yeah, I forgot I talked about all that. What does that have to do with Indiana Jones? I don't know, but we got into it.
I don't know either.
We got into it. Go back and listen.
Here, man.
It's a good time.
But we've also got Chris Sorrentino from Super Live Adventure. How are you doing, man? How was your 4th of July?
Good. 4th of July was okay. I like the day itself. It was pretty rainy here in New York. Later on, the rain cleared up, so just hung out, watched some fireworks. Nothing too crazy. Yesterday, so usually 4th of July is Jaws. You watch Jaws. If you can watch all the Jaws, you watch all the Jaws. They just go. They just tank. It's amazing to watching how bad those movies get. But I love it. I love all of it. But I had tickets for yesterday to go see it at the Alamo Draft House, my local one here on Staten Island, with my son and his buddy, and we went and fucking Alamo party. You're wearing a shark fin. They had a little little life preserver with a chunk taken out of it, like a little like Alex Kintner life preserver that you put your drink in. Yeah, it was fucking dope, and it was good just seeing Jaws on the big screen, man. Because I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've never seen it on a big screen, and it's just like, man, it's just like. It's just made to watch on the screen. It just hits you different. It really does. It really, really, really does. I don't know why. Like I actually jumped at shit. Like this is a movie I've watched my entire life. Yeah. I was like, wow. I don't know. It just really hits different, man. I suggest it if you get a chance to see Jaws on the big screen. It's a fucking spectacle. It's a summertime classic. No holds barred. It's the summer blockbuster. You know what I mean? It's like the mold was broken with that one. Yeah, man, fucking Jaws. That's what I've been doing. I've been fucking Jaws. I've been literally having sex with a shark. It's been exhilarating.
That's what's up, bro. I fucking love the Alamo stuff. So it's cool. You got to go to one of their movie parties that had going on for that. Especially for
it's good times. It's good times. Yeah, that's it, man. Just hanging out. I got some comedy shows coming up soon. I'll plug those later. That's about it.
Very nice, bro. You're gonna hate me for this. I've never seen Jaws still.
Me neither.
That's wild, dude. That's absolutely wild.
Jaws is it's just the perfect movie in my opinion. It's so good. So good. You have to see it. There's so many. It's like, it's a little cliche, but it's like an onion. There's so many fucking layers to Jaws. You know what I mean? Like at surface level, it's a movie about a giant shark, but it's also about these men coming to grips with their destiny, and dude, it's so fucking good. Just see Jaws. I recommend you just drop everything and see Jaws. Don't watch Insidious, whatever. Watch Jaws.
Yeah,
trust me.
Yeah, don't watch Insidious. Now, I know TV is way different now than it was when Chris and I were growing up. It would have been hard, Chris, to not see Jaws our whole
I
lives. It
know
would've been hard
Jaws was
to.
always on. I know. I can't imagine it.
I own
I
Jaws
can't
on
imagine.
4K,
That's crazy.
man, like physically, and still haven't watched it.
Really?
Oh.
Now Jaws was everywhere. Everywhere.
Dude,
You'd
I
go
love
over
it.
somebody's house and Jaws would be on. Like their parents would be watching Jaws. Like it would just always be a thing back in the day.
You own Jaws in a format that was like 15 formats after it was filmed, but you've never seen it? Come on.
Yeah, no, I've owned it for
Get
like
outta
3
here.
years.
Get outta
too, man.
Oh, dude, watch it, please.
Gee, I think I bought
I'll
that
see you guys.
before we even started the fucking podcast, man.
Probably do.
That's wild, dude.
I know,
That's
I know, bro.
It's very well.
But speaking of Spielberg stuff, we're talking about another franchise again, like we said earlier with Brian going into it. We're talking some more Indiana Jones. This time without Spielberg, we got James Mangold directing this piece, The Dial of Destiny. But also joining us in the chat, because this is a live episode, of course. We got our main gamer Harold down there.
Yo,
What's up, dude? The
Hey.
legendary, the man, the
What's
myth
going on?
himself. What a fucking top G. We also got Saxman697 who says Max hasn't seen a classic movie. Color me surprised, lol. Well, colored me, the correct spelling for movie, because you got a lot of typos, dog. Sick one.
Hey, stop, dude. He's okay.
Oh,
He's okay.
he's the sax
learning.
man. He
Wow.
he's playing the sax while he's typing. Give him some credit.
He's riffing on you right now, is what he's doing, Max. And I agree
Yeah.
with Sax Man.
I
I'm not
do,
surprised
too.
that you haven't seen it at all.
So do I, man. Because you know what? That movie is on almost every freaking holiday, man. It like on TCM and the fucking FX channel.
Right?
Even I think it's like your main cable channel still, dude.
Yeah, no, we'll do an episode on this year, man. We'll cover it this
No, we
year.
don't need to do an episode. You can just watch it by yourself. I don't want to talk about Jaws, but just watch the movie.
I'll talk about Jaws with you. You set it up there, dude.
Max, you and I could do it since we both haven't seen it.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Dakari
Yeah,
didn't
we'll
see
do
it either.
a blind ass episode. There we go, Dakari.
There we go.
At least you got someone willing to hop in the boat before failure, man. That's great. Oh, we got another comment from Saxman. Said, "Listen, this is Curtis. I've been drinking. Cut me some slack." Curtis, where's the Bat Shack, bro? Where the hell is the Saxman coming from? Come on.
That's what he's drinking, man.
What you drinking, Curtis? What you drinking? Comment down below, buddy. Only the best here, Galaxy of Film. Before we go ahead and
Red stripe,
dive,
Curtis.
Nice.
before we go ahead and dive into Dial of Destiny, let's go ahead and talk the news this week. Danilo, I know you didn't get a chance to watch Dial of Destiny, so be joining us for the news, of course, and kind of kicking into Dial of Destiny. So we're gonna go ahead and have you up to bat first for this, bro. Let's go ahead and see what we have up first. This is a little bit of Insidious news. Jason Blum and James Wan plan to end the Insidious franchise with this next entry, The Red Door, and are going to go focusing on some more horror video game adaptations. What are your thoughts on this, man? We kind of gave our thoughts on that 5 Nights at Freddy's Blumhouse film last week. What are your thoughts on this
Yeah.
piece of news?
I don't know if the video game is the right way to go, but I'm happy the Insidious franchise is coming to an end. You know me, I've never been someone to be like just dragging on, keep on making more money. Oh my god, I can't wait to see the next installment. Can't wait to see the next installment. If they say it's done, it's going to be done, and that's fine with me. The Insidious franchise should have been done. They should have made this movie before they made 4 and 5.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, because 4 is like a prequel, and 5 is about, oh god, I forget her name, the lady or whatever.
Yeah.
The lady who like puts him into the further or whatever, and it's like her life. So, and 4 is just, I don't even know what that. It's just a totally wild family, a totally different family. So I thought like if I was gonna be a trilogy, you know, I guess they were gonna wait till Dalton grew up, and I guess they actually did wait until Dalton grew up. So yeah, I'm pretty excited that they're gonna end it. You know, it'll be nice to just see this conclusion for this family, you know, start and end in somewhat of a decent way, because the main Insidious films, like 1, 2, are still pretty good and still hold up. So
Yeah.
if 3 can, you know, just hit that still like B+, A- mediocre score or whatever, and I would say it's you know, it was a decent trilogy, and I'm not gonna count 4 and 5 because, you know, why the hell would I?
You talking about Indiana Jones or Insidious?
No, Insidious.
I'm just saying, the same rules kind of apply.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. For sure.
Yeah, crazy enough they do.
So wait, real quick, is Patrick Wilson in 3? 3, because this is Red Door is a sequel to 2, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's up with 3?
Yeah,
You didn't
what-
mention 3 just now.
The one that's coming out is 3. 3
Okay, yeah.
is like a totally different family. Yeah, 3's a totally different family. I don't know what 3's doing. I don't even know what it was called. I know 4 was The Lost Keys or whatever, but I don't know what 3 was. I watched it on like in school. And I was like, God, this is one of the worst things I've watched in my life.
Oh, were you just like bootlegging it on your phone during class?
Oh yeah, well, we were just like watching movies or whatever, and it was about this girl who was like in a wheelchair, if I remember, who has no relationship to the main family, like Dalton's family, Patrick Wilson's family, or Rose Bryan's family or whatever. Like just no relationship. Like they just completely took it a totally different direction. I was like, why? The only people who was in there was the old lady and those 2 little like ghost guys from 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they were trying to like start like their own little like spin-offs there or whatever. And then it just failed because those movies tanked. And then they're finally like, okay, well, we're gonna have to wrap it up. We got one good script left in us, so let's close the books.
Nah, I feel you.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, Dakari, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on this Insidious piece of news?
Well, I've really only seen the first 2 movies, and that was it. And when I saw them when they came out. I can't really remember everything from those movies.
I have no clue what the fuck you're saying, dog. Your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go, buddy.
Okay. So as I was saying, I've seen the first 2, but I've only seen them when they like first came out, so I can't really remember how they were per se. But I am happy that they are finally ending in this series because I think it's very long overdue.
Yeah. I feel you, man.
That's really all I feel about it.
Okay.
That's really it. I need to watch them. I haven't really watched them like that. Insidious has been like a cultural thing for years now, and isn't Patrick Wilson directing this?
Yes, Patrick Wilson is.
Oh, he's directing.
That's weird.
Okay. All right. Is this his first directorial effort, or
I
is
think
like
so. I think so. I don't know.
I believe Danilo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But either way, good thing this franchise come to a close.
Brian, what are your thoughts on this piece of Insidious news?
I don't know anything about Insidious. I've never seen these Insidious movies, but I do know, I can guarantee one thing, that Insidious wouldn't exist if it wasn't for 1975's Jaws.
Yes. Yes.
That's true, man. That's true.
All right, man. And Chris, what are your thoughts on the Insidious news?
I'm with Bri. I've never seen a single. Is that the one with that there monster man that looks like Darth Maul?
Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I seen like a picture of that guy. So yeah. I'm with Brian, man. Go watch Jaws. Take your Insidious ticket and fucking throw it in the garbage, and then put on your fucking 4K of Jaws. I'm telling you. I'm not asking you. I'm not suggesting. I'm fucking telling you.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yo, I'm right. And one day you're gonna turn to me, say, "Hey, you know what, Sorrentino? You're fucking right. You were right the whole time." The Darth Maul guy ain't got nothing on fucking Quint, Brody, Hooper. Come on.
One of these days, man. One of these days.
Fucking Insidious. Are you kidding me? Insidious.
Actually, that's so true, dude. Because that guy, I don't know, when his son, like, oh, wait, I don't want to spoil it. Actually, no, man. You should have been watching the movie, man. Yeah, fuck you. When the guy or whatever, like, his son, like, started to drown or whatever, and I don't know, like, what, like, let's just say his name was Peter, the dad or whatever, and he's sitting in that lawn chair, and the camera, like, does its dolly zoom. And
that's Brody.
Yeah, Brody.
Yeah, that rack focus.
All right, give me one shoe of Discord crapping out on me. Shoe of Discord crapping out on me. Alright, let's make sure we're good. I believe we're still good. Ah, what is happening?
or
I do, just because they're going back to the first family, like the 1 and 2 family with Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, the same kids.
Okay.
They're just much older now, so hopefully it'll be good then. But we'll see.
You're right, Max.
Yeah,
Max,
I think we're
okay,
still
man.
live. I don't know what the fuck just happened, man. My
You
entire
okay,
computer
Max?
just crashed.
Yeah, we're still live. I mean, everyone is sitting here waiting for you to get your computer restarted.
Okay,
so we can keep going.
I'm trying.
What else do we have on the news? Insidious 3 is coming out. Go watch it.
Yeah,
Or don't.
Insidious 3 is coming out. Go watch that.
Insidious 3.
Yeah, man. What else? What else is on the docket?
Jesus Christ. Up next in the news, we have some leaked photos or some set photos from Deadpool 3, revealing the new costume for this piece. Danilo, have you seen these photos? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, dude, I have seen these new photos. Didn't even know it was a new costume. Looks cool though, man. Looks cool. I'm excited to see Deadpool.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know, dude, Deadpool's weird to me, man. Deadpool's like, he's a cool guy. He does his shit that he needs to do. 1 was great. I like 1. 2 is good. I like 2. But I'm not like, oh my god, gotta be the first one in theater to go see Deadpool 2. Gotta be the first one in to go see Deadpool 3. And I'm then not actively like rewatching any of them. But if they're on, like, I'll keep them on the television or the telly, as they're saying in Britain. But yeah.
I feel you, man. I love that first one to death, man. That first one is one of the most rewatchable movies from that year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was funny.
I like the sequel a lot too.
There was I saw the suit pics and same thing. I didn't really register that I was that new. It was kind of the same old. But I saw some other costume pick. One other costume pick. You know what I'm talking about? Did you see the? I don't know if it's real. It's the Wolverine costume.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. What?
Oh, it looks insane. It's like the brown and yellow costume.
What?
You don't think it's real?
Are we getting the Sorrentino scoop right now?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I like it.
But it might not be real, though. We're just finding out. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, check it out. Dakari might have the scoop on my scoop.
What do you say, man? What do you say, Dakari? Am I looking at real factual things here? We can't be sued, Dakari. We can't be sued. We don't have good enough lawyers.
Yeah, nah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Man, I saw the set photos. I mean, Deadpool's costume is kind of cool.
Can
you hear me?
No, we can hear you all right.
I'm just making sure. I don't know about Wolverine's costume. I've seen that floating around on the internet. It might actually be the design, but I don't know if that was actually taken on set.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't tell. It just looks like it's in wardrobe.
Yeah.
It's not like on anybody. It's just kind of like hanging up.
Oh, okay. Damn, I'm trying to find a picture of this, man. Where did you guys see it? On Twitter?
Someone on Instagram had it. Try maybe it's MCU report.
MCU report. I'm taking a look at this, man.
There's your plug, MCU report. Did they have it? No, they didn't have it. Oh, excuse me for that, bro. I'm looking at them now. I take back that plug. Don't go to MCU report.
Yeah,
fuck MCU report, dude.
Dude, they were always fucking shit in the bed with these things.
Jesus. Brian, what are your thoughts on the Deadpool 3 set photos?
So the costume looks exactly the same, so I don't see what the big deal is. And B, it's a Marvel thing, so they're just going to CGI his costume on anyways, right? So who even cares what this looks like?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh yeah, that's very true, man. Yeah, look at Uncle Brian, always tossing the words of wisdom around.
I can't find it. I think it was taken down already. Oh wow.
They didn't have CGI back when Jaws was a thing, man. That was called editing. That was called perfect editing.
That's called perfect score, perfect editing.
Yeah.
And Dakari, what are your thoughts on the Deadpool 3 photos?
Well, I can see where the costume looks slightly different compared to the first 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a little bit, just a tad bit more comic accurate, but there's really nothing.
Okay.
I'm just ready for a trailer at this point. I mean, I think the first Deadpool is possibly one of the best comic book movies ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool 2. No, for Deadpool's character and the movie they made for Deadpool, I think it couldn't have been better. It just couldn't. And Deadpool 2 was fine. You know, it was a little bit all over the place, but it was an enjoyable film. So for Deadpool 3, I'm just ready for a trailer, honestly.
Feel you on that, bro. I feel you on that.
Sorry, dude, I like the animation sounds. They're fun.
Boy, fuck you.
Oh, okay, found it.
Oh, you found it?
It's actually posted by Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
And then I
Hugh
think they
Jackman
made him-
fucking posted
I
it?
think they made him take it down.
Yes.
Hey!
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
the
fire.
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman
Wait,
posted
so
that.
Dakari, it's not the one you saw then. Dakari, is that the one you saw? I think he's frozen. I thought he was just staring at it. I'm like, oh man, it's cool, but not that cool. He's just frozen.
Oh god.
I hope you're okay, man. No, but the suit looks fucking just fly, man. It's cool, and it's there you go. It's posted by the Jackman himself, apparently.
Damn,
So-
bro. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find it.
You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, send a screenshot,
text
bro. I
it.
want to take a better look at this thing. It looks clean.
Yeah, I'll text it to you right now.
That's what's up, bro. For our last piece of news, real quick, we got I guess kind of a no surprise update from one of our favorite Scientologists. Tom Cruise announces he has no plans at all to retire. Danilo, I just know you adore Scientology and Tom Cruise. So what are your thoughts on this, man?
Dude, I don't know. It's whatever. If he doesn't have plans to retire, I don't think he does have plans to retire, dude. Someone sent a tweet. I don't know who it was, so I can't give them credit. Or Threads, or whatever they're on now these days, dude. These wacky kids. But someone said that Tom Cruise ain't gonna retire until all our big ass cineplexes get that second concession stand to open up. And I said, you know what, man? That makes a lot of sense.
I'm with him. I'm with Tom Cruise on that.
Yeah, I would love to see it, dude. It'd be kind of cool. It'd be really kind of cool if you know, in my lifetime, they ever at that AMC Forum. God, I love that place. If they open up that second or third concession stand, man, because there's 3 in that big ass theater.
Fucking 3 of them?
Yeah, because it's 30 fucking screens, dude.
God,
2, I think it's
damn.
1 IMAX, 1 Dolby, 1 that seats about 500, 2 theaters that seat 500,
Mhm.
like 5 that seat 300. It's huge ass theaters. Like the parking lot was full for Endgame when that came out that night or whatever.
Oh, I believe
So-
it, dude. Was that 24-hour
Yeah.
showings too? Remember that time?
Yeah. No, it was kind of cool to see it though. It was kind of cool to see AMC popping like that. And I was like, yo, shit, are the other concession stands gonna be open? But they haven't been open in like what, like forever. They just put there for display, I think.
Oh, sick.
They didn't open it, but that was kind of sad.
Gotta get an Alamo, brother.
Damn, I've been trying to convince him for months, bro.
Alamo's the shit.
We don't have an
So
Alamo.
fucking
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I don't have an Alamo either, but rumor is that we're getting one in not too long. So hopefully.
Cool. Very cool. I hope so too. It's just I don't know. It's like it's the place to see movies. It's like too fucking good. The way they
Yeah.
handle you know the whole like procedures and deal like how they deal with people and all that shit. Like
Mhm.
all right. Yeah, it's they live up to it. Like you talk you're out. Like it's cool.
Yeah, it's
What
fucking
if I want to
nice,
like
man.
cheer? What if I want to like cheer something, man? When I see Einstein in Oppenheimer as a cameo, can I like get out of my seat and just start cheering?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're fine with
Cool.
the cheering. It's not. It's more or less like if you're like one of these fucking idiots on your phone, or you're just
Oh,
talking through the whole
okay.
movie. Like, who's that guy? Who's her? Who's that
Yeah.
lady?
Yeah.
What's? Oh, that guy from Ray Romano's show. I know him. Like you get like those idiots, and they kick you right out.
Yeah.
Can't see a movie with your dad. It's basically what it is.
Jeez.
What it is.
Basically, man. Like, oh, I remember when I saw Morbius, some douchebag was just screaming the whole fucking movie.
Yeah,
At
dude,
the
because he was
Alamo.
probably happy he was seeing cinema.
Yeah, was it Jared
Right?
Leto?
Yeah, oh, jeez.
He was ascending, is what was happening.
Descending.
Exactly.
Fucking Christ.
He had one of those draft beers, and he was feeling great while watching that. It's just classic, dude. I want Criterion to put it on 4K, man.
Oh yeah, Morbius needs a release.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
Yeah,
I haven't
fucking
I haven't
needs it.
seen it yet because I'm like kind of like I'm just waiting for the perfect time to watch it. If that makes sense? Like I just like
Okay.
want to make a whole night out of it. You know?
It's Morbin time, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Brian, what are your thoughts on Tom Cruise not retiring?
That seems like the most non-news of news, but that's okay. No, I think power to him. He was just a Top Gun last year. Great film. Good job, Tom Cruise. This Mission Impossible looks fun. I mean, he looks like he's having fun doing it. He can still do it. People like to complain a lot about Tom Cruise and say that he's weird and no one likes him. But then anytime he's ever in anything, people are like, man, that was really pretty good though. Tom Cruise really is pretty good, even though we don't like him. So that's how it is. I mean, if I was Tom Cruise, I also would not retire. So there you go.
Don't blame me at all, man. Don't blame me at all. And Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's same. More power to Tom Cruise. I'm not a Tom Cruise hater, nor am I really a Tom Cruise fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's just like a guy who's kind of like existed my whole life making movies. Never like ran out to see a Tom Cruise movie. Like, oh, I have to see this movie, but I've always enjoyed his movies.
Yeah.
More or less.
Where the fuck did Dakari come from, dude? Look like he's at like a 2011 YouTube video. What?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now you got the headset busted all of a sudden, man. You completely just flipped the script. Where are you at, bro?
Well, I had to shift the camera around. I actually was using my phone, and my phone got hot, and the temperature was just like, the phone was like, oh, you need to let your phone cool down a little bit. It's too hot. Okay. Whatever. I never had that happen before, so I just let it rest, and I'm just using this laptop. And the Bluetooth headset that I have is acting up, so I'm actually using my brother's gaming headset.
The iPhone said all of that, man?
Yeah, it literally had a temperature icon and said your iPhone is too hot to use.
Oh shit! I've never seen that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my god.
How am I sounding? Am I sounding all right?
You sound a bit muffled and like you're in a windstorm, but
We'll power through, baby.
you sound like you're on one of Indiana Jones' adventures, man.
I'm trying to make it work, man. That's all I'm doing.
It's working,
man.
Only the best here, Galaxy of Film.
I guess.
Oh boy. Well, Dakari, you made it back in time, bro. What are your thoughts on Tom Cruise not retiring?
Okay. Well, to be quite honest, that's not really a fair comparison because I was gonna say I always thought of him as the American Jackie Chan, but he didn't become that until like later in his career. Because listen, because before that,
Dude, what the fuck did I just hear, man? You gotta explain that one. I'm sorry, dude.
I'm going to. I don't think that's a fair comparison because before that, he wasn't doing action movies. He was just in dramas and thrillers. He didn't do action movies for real until Mission Impossible. Until the first Mission Impossible movie. So I can't really make that comparison. I only make that comparison because he does his own crazy ass stunts just as much as Jackie Chan does. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what that comparison
Yeah. No, I got it. I see the comparison.
Yeah, so that's where that comparison lies. But as far as him not retiring, what other movies can he make?
I mean, I guess
Hopefully the second
Shut
half of Mission Impossible, because this is just part one. So hopefully that.
I'm talking about after Mission Impossible because after this,
Go back to drama. I mean, you got a great movie. You know what I mean? It's Rain Man. You know,
You can start a Galaxy film production if he wants to.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
It's
Fucking
fun.
sequel to Rain Man. That's what Dakari's mic sounds like.
Hey, shut up. I'm trying to make it work, man.
No, I'm just giving you shit, bro. It's all good.
You good. But it's just
Iron Man.
I'd kind of like to see Tom Cruise in a Star Wars movie. I'm not gonna lie.
That will be kind of cool. Either
Like a
Star
grizzled
Wars,
old Jedi or something.
either a Star Wars movie or something Disney's doing on Disney Plus. You know what I'm saying? Either or, man. I'm not mad at it.
I was in Tom Cruise in the National Treasure show we got, dude.
Oh, wow.
We need Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan and like a buddy cop.
Oh,
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
That would be something that I would watch for real. Yeah, it's just like, if Robert De Niro and Al Pacino can do it, and if damn sure Jackie Chan can do it, then he could have a lifelong acting career too. So I'm not really mad at that.
I feel you. Oh, we got a comment down below saying, "I'd love to see Cruz act like a father to Suri."
That'd be fun.
That's wild.
How old is that kid now?
God.
So he's got to be like a teenager by now, right?
Hell if I fucking. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan,
I
man,
don't
to be
even
honest
know.
with you.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of those
know.
movies.
Yeah.
I want to see him as the next Flash.
Yeah. It's
What
less
about the
problematic.
Yeah,
next
fucking for real,
Superman?
man. For fucking real. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up news for this week. Let's go ahead and get ready to dive into our final adventure with our old friend, Indiana Jones. Danilo, go ahead and give us your recap of the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, dude. So the Dial of Destiny starts off. Wait, can I get the time frame though? Nazis are the bad guys, right? In
Yeah,
one?
this
So
is
that'd be
what,
in the 40s,
1969, I think?
They're always the bad guys. Nazis they're never the good guys.
So is this before Shy or after Shy?
Well, the first section is before, but
Okay,
then it's
okay.
after for the rest of the film. So.
All right, cool. So before Shy's having or what is coming out of nowhere, dude. Everyone's just hanging out, doing their own thing. Nazis are being bad. Indy's swinging on some ropes or whatever, and he's like, Marion's in trouble, and he has to rescue her from a castle, dude. In the first 20 minutes, and we get our introduction to Mads. Mads is like, he's like, oh man, I'm a big bad guy. I'm a bad guy, and you're all like, yo, Mads, settle down, dude. You've literally been a bad guy in almost like 90% of your movies. The only one which you weren't was that Hulu original where you were drinking wine and dancing. Let's just go over his roster, man. Hannibal, he made the Death Star. Now he's a Nazi. I mean, it all just lines up, dude. Next thing I know, I don't know what he's gonna be, dude. He's gonna be the next Oppenheimer or whatever. So we keep going on, man. And Indy's just chilling out. He's doing his thing, slinging back a few, bottles of Jack. He's a bit washed up at this point. He looks a bit de-aged, a bit washed up. He gets his little friend, dude, who has that little like Egyptian hand or whatever. I don't know what that guy's name was.
Salah?
Like Fred.
Salah.
Yeah, Salah. Yeah, dude. Salah comes out of nowhere, dude, and he's like, Indy, my boy. And Indy's like, hey, what's going on, Salah? And they're like, all right, guys, we got to dial in because Nazis are bad. And so Mads trying to grab the, being sort of the plot is Mads trying to get this Dial of Destiny because he wants to turn back time. Because Indy realized he did some mistakes. He cheated on Marion, and he has to go back. He has to turn back that dial and make sure he doesn't make those mistakes, dude. But however, the Dial of Destiny breaks, and you're like, no, Indy, no. And so then we jump forward in time to after Shy was conceived or whatever. So we go to there or whatever. Marion comes in and she's like, Indy, we get like a, one of those classic sitcom TV cuts where we get the Dial of Destiny that broke on the ground. That's our ending shot. And then we go in, like our act 3 or whatever, act 2. And it's Marion just ramming through the door of their house. Like, Indiana or whatever his name is. And he's like, what do you want, Marion? And Marion's all like, Shy died. And you're like, oh, what the hell, dude? Why did our boy Shy die again? Because he was kind of cool, man. We thought he was going to, resurrect that role or whatever as, what was he called? Like Muskrat or something?
Mutt Williams, dude. Jesus.
Yeah, Mutt. Yeah, Mutt Williams, dude. Yeah. So anyway, though, he's dead. And you're like, God damn, dude. And then so Indy's like, wait a minute, Marion. I can turn back time because I know that there's the Dial of Destiny somewhere. And then we get a cut scene back to Mads Mikkelsen, dude. And Mads is like, he's an older guy now. He's up in his age. Like we saw young Mads. He's like 20s or whatever. Now we're back up then. He's the age he is now. 60, 70ish, and he's like, man, I remember that time our Dial of Destiny broke, Nazi friends. And you're like, the fuck, dude? What are these Nazis just hanging around at like Summer Smash or something? I don't know what's going on. But Mads is saying he needs to turn back time as well, dude. So then all of a sudden, Dr. Jones has like a letter he wrote. So when Indy lost his son, he can open that letter. So Indiana's opening the letter, dude, and he's like, well, how did my dad know that my son's going to die? But he knew because it was his Dial of Destiny. He's like, Indiana, I knew because there was a second Dial of Destiny. And you're like, oh, shit, dude, no way did we just bring out 2 Dials of Destinies. One was probably a prototype, and this was the real deal, man. So now, Indy's gonna go fly, and then somehow Sala comes out of nowhere again. He's like, Indy, I love you, brother, but I was attacked by the Nazis today. And you were like, the fuck, dude? We're in like America. What do you mean the Nazis are attacking you, dude? They flew out to Buenos Aires or something? So Mads then gets on a flight, dude, and they're going to where do I want the Dial of Destiny to be? I'm just gonna say Russia. Russia's the way the Dial of Destiny is, dude. And Mads is now flying, to Russia. Indy's flying to Russia. Marion is, dying and lost her son. Marion, by the way, had like stage 4 of cancer. So Indy has to turn back the time on that one as well, or turn time forward so we can get a cure. I don't know what Indy's planning to do, dude. So he goes and he does all that or whatever. They get to Russia. Big shootout happens. He's like, man, and this is Indiana. He's like, man, you messed up coming to Russia. And Mads Mikkelsen is like, you messed up having us lose World War II. And you're like, whoa, the fuck, dude? That was a hard bar to just drop in the middle of Russia. So all of a sudden, they're doing their thing. It's the USSR now at this point. So both of them get arrested, because they're both like foreigners or whatever. And then Mads and Indiana have to work together, and they get out. They hit little buddy cop routine going on for 20 minutes, middle of the film, and then they finally get to Serbia, dude. They're climbing mountains, dude. They're climbing mountains. Mads is about dying, dude, because he's the older one. He's like, I can't make it, Indy. But when you get there, turn back my dial as well. And Indy's like, I don't think so, Nazi boy. Shoots him with his 6-pistol revolver, dude. And you're like, damn. Indiana's a cold-hearted guy, man. Then he realizes he has his whip still. That whip he always had in like the Lego games.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, dude. He whips himself like through the mountains or whatever. He's like swinging, keeps going, dude. He finally gets the Dial of Destiny. All of a sudden, we see who was the president? Tazar or whatever his name was. Tazar, the president of the USSR or whatever. Oh, Gorbachev. Gorbachev already just pops up out of nowhere, dude. He's like, who the fuck are you dirty American? Indiana's like, don't talk to me. I'm about to Indiana time. With his 6-thing revolver again, dude. Anyway, he basically just makes sure everything's good in Europe for the rest of the 40 years, dude. He turned back his time. He doesn't turn back time, dude, because that was a thing. He couldn't turn himself back, so he's the same age, but everyone else is a bit younger. And then he just sits on the Serbia mountain. He cracks open his little satchel that he has. Always has that like little satchel thing.
Mm-hmm.
He puts a photo of his dad next to him. He gets a shot of Jack, pours a glass for his dad, pours a glass for Shy, pours a glass for Marion, pours a glass for himself, one for Mads, one for Gorbachev, and he says, well, guys, I'm Indiana Jones. Has a sip and just watches the Serbia thing happen, and then he like gets hypothermia and dies, and that was the end of the movie, dude.
Wow, spot fucking on, man.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
How come you didn't get a credit for screenwriting? What the heck?
I don't know, man. Should have, but yeah, that was it. How close are we, man? How close are we?
You were spot on, bro. Spot fucking on.
Yeah, you were somewhere between 0 and 100% right on that.
All right, that's good, dude. That's good.
You forgot when they show the part with young Gorbachev, and they show like how he got the spot on his head and everything. Like they show his whole past. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dang.
Yeah.
They did. Oh, that's cool too, man.
Yeah, they go back and they show his. Yeah.
That's where that 300 million budget came from. They were de-aging Gorbachev, Mads, and everyone.
He was on the train.
It was a side effect of using the multiple dials of destinies.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Classic guy with Destiny. Dude, anyone in the chat, if you haven't seen this movie, let me know if that sounds interesting.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Only the best here. Only the fucking best, dude. Danilo, did you want to stay for this portion of the show or not for spoilers?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. We gotta edit a bit of filmmaking, man. Gotta edit some movie magic.
That's exactly right, bro. You got distinguished in post-production right now. I'm working on it.
Yeah. That's what I'm about to be working on. Anyway, guys, it's been a blast. Hopefully Dial of Destiny is a bit better than that recap. But if not, hey, Warner Brothers, Paramount, whoever just wrote that movie, hire me instead, because that movie sounded pretty lit.
Yep.
It actually did sound kind of interesting.
Oh, geez, Dakari.
It actually kind of did.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Always good talking to you. I'll be back next week to talk about my Red Door Insidious, and Max will be back to talk about Jaws. His stream of the week.
Yeah. Stream of the week is Jaws. Yeah, man.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Pablo.
Peace.
What a fucking guy, man. What a guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, so let's go ahead and talk about like initial reactions real quick coming out of the theater. I know we were all here a few weeks ago talking about Crystal Skull and Last Crusade, and we all kind of expressed concerns for, you know, the finale on this movie because we've already had 2 other finales before in the series. So first impressions, you walk out of the theater. What did you think, Brian?
I really liked it. My initial reaction. I couldn't really put my finger on why I liked it. I just saw this on Monday night. I didn't see it kind of those opening a couple of nights. I saw it Monday night just with the holiday schedule going on. But yeah, coming out of it, I was like, I really liked that. But I really need to kind of sit with it for a day or two, and I did. And now I can kind of talk about the things that I actually liked about it. But yeah, initially just coming out of the theater, I was like, that felt right. It felt like a really good ending for this character. It felt like they, told this very compelling story about him, and yeah, I was really happy with it.
I feel you, man. I was kind of like the same with you, honestly. I was a bit surprised, I was a bit taken back, because obviously Spielberg isn't involved so much in this project. We got James Mangold directing, same guy did like Logan and Ford versus Ferrari. But stepping out of the theater for this thing, man, I was like, God, Mr. Mangold knows how to Spielberg the fuck out of a movie. Like this, if you didn't tell me this didn't have Spielberg attached to it, I would have thought it would have. But I really thoroughly enjoyed this one, for sure. I had some gripes, because more or less this kind of rewrites or kind of replaces Crystal Skull to a certain degree by not having Shia involved in this one or referencing Crystal Skull too much. And we'll get to that later on. But this does feel like a good ending on a high note moment. I adore the ending of Crystal Skull, that wedding sequence, picking up the hat and, Mutt kind of grabbing onto after it falls back through the wind. But I like this bit. I really do. I love the last shot where the hat's kind of hanging up, but we still see Harrison still grab it because, we may be done following Indiana, but the adventure still isn't over for him at least. I loved this movie, honestly. Chris, I know you're a diehard Indiana Jones fan for life. When you walked out of that theater, what was your initial reaction, man?
I liked it. I didn't love it, and I walked out thinking like, hey, all right. I liked it better than Skull. I definitely did. But not as much as the original 3. So I was just kind of like, I liked it. I walked out liking it. Like I did but I completely understood it was an unnecessary movie. It was very like I almost think this wouldn't have been made if there wasn't a Crystal Skull. Like they probably wouldn't have just gone back to the character at all. In my opinion, I passed 2008. Like I don't think they would have gone back to him. This just kind of felt like I said, like unnecessary, but it was good. I liked it. I don't know. I was still kind of also just I was anticipating him dying. So I was just a little like, whoa, I was like a little thrown off, to be honest, like walking out. I cried, they pulled like a Ghostbusters Afterlife on me. They made like the end, this bittersweet thing that kind of made you walk out like more in love with it. Then upon when you go home and you think about it and you're like, all right, yeah, you know what I mean? The love kind of wears off. It's the Jason Reitman move.
Yeah, sure.
But I cried. I was very, it was just sweet. Like the whole replay of the Raiders, kissing scene, but in reverse, the sub scene. So I was like, not the boat scene. So I was like, it really got me. It touched me. But I understand it that it was, schmaltz and he's kind of supposed to be like that. But like, I liked it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like I said, I just didn't love it, but I liked it. And I was actually, because my 13-year-old son just did not like it. And I was like, well, you
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah. And I was like, well, stack it up against, you know, like recent adventure movies. I was like, you know, you don't really have a ton, but like Uncharted and Jungle Cruise
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Lara Croft. I was like, this is a lot better than those movies. You got to admit that. He's like, yeah, I'll give it that.
That's
I was like,
fair, I
all right.
suppose, man. Okay. Dang.
Yeah. You got to think of it as a modern adventure film. You can't stack it against the three made in the 80s. It's a different time, different way of making movies, literally a different way the movie's being processed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Absolutely.
not on film anymore. It's a completely different way of making movies, especially when you know you have like CG extensions or green screen or just CG characters and vehicles and every like you shoot a completely different movie. So I can't compare it against those three. I can only compare it to, like I said, like modern adventure films. And like, yeah, this was good for that.
Okay, man. That's fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
I fucking love Jungle Cruise, man. Can't believe you just threw it in that ballpark.
Oh no, I didn't. I'm just saying I thought it was
Yeah.
better than Jungle Cruise. I like Jungle Cruise a lot. I thought this was better than Jungle Cruise.
Absolutely, though. You're right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not shitting on Jungle Cruise. I thought Uncharted was like okay. You know, like it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't. It had hard shoes to fill because it was the games are fucking just amazing. The games are
Yeah.
beautiful and epic and like these sweeping giant locations you're in.
Mhm.
It's hard to put that on a screen. I get that, you know.
That's true. That is true. God, man. I forgot Uncharted was a thing, honestly.
Yeah,
I
yeah, right.
watched it not that long ago. Yeah.
I know, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but it feels like forever ago.
Yeah,
Time flies when you're having fun, like you said, Chris.
yeah, man.
Dakari, when you walked out of the theater after watching The Dial of Destiny, what were your initial thoughts for this piece?
I was like, oh wow, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like because the ending
Grab a beer.
actually had me think a little bit about the character,
Mm-hmm.
like the current state of the character, rather than Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones himself. You know, the way the film ends is just you expect it to go another way, but it goes a completely different way.
Yeah.
You know, because the ending is of him, you know, through the Dial of Destiny, and the villain. They actually end up in 214 BC
Mm-hmm.
when the Romans were fighting the. Who were they fighting? I forgot. But anyway, there was this big battle going on with the Romans, and they just get transported into that time period where that big battle was happening, and Indiana Jones and his goddaughter Helena Shaw finally get a chance to meet Archimedes, who was the creator of Dial of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And that honestly was a bittersweet feeling because we know how much Indy loves and dedicates his life to archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be in that moment was not only bittersweet but very euphoric at the same time. Like I was on the verge of tears during that moment because you actually felt the emotion from Harrison Ford seeping through that performance in that moment. I was like, yo,
Absolutely.
this is something Indy has always wanted his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that took place prior led up to this moment. And for Helena to punch him in the face and for the scene to cut off was just like, okay. I understood why it happened because you can't rewrite history, but at the same time, like, God damn it. I felt a little rushed.
Okay, I can see that. I can at
I
least see
felt a
that.
little bit rushed, and I was just like, okay, it didn't let us live in the moment for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to write this movie, I would be like, okay, don't punch him in the face and have it abruptly go back to the real world. I would just have Helena and Indy have a heart-to-heart with each other. Helena be like, yo, listen to me. Go back home. Or something like that.
Just
You know
like
what I'm saying?
Batman? That's what you sound like for a second.
Or something like that. Or something like in Last Crusade.
Mhm.
Where Indiana Jones was hanging off the edge of the cliff trying to grab
Yeah.
the grill. And then he's like, Indiana, let it go. Something
Yeah.
like that. Something
Yeah.
like that. I would have preferred that over just the abrupt punch in the face. And then, booyah, we back to the reality. I understood the ending and I appreciated it and I understood why they decided to take it that route. I just felt it was a little bit rushed. But that ending really just kind of made me not only think about what the movie was for, but what the character was really about.
Yeah.
You know, because we see him as this lonely, grouchy professor on his, last stripes of life. You
Mhm.
know, he's pretty much given up. He still has this love for archaeology. He's a professor. He continues to teach people. But even people around him just don't have that same respect and energy for archaeology anymore.
Yeah, we see
You
that
know what
with
I'm saying?
the opening bit with the students. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And that's how I feel about today is like people really don't have that same energy about Indiana Jones anymore. This movie was a fucking flop.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like it's a timely movie.
Yeah.
It's possibly the most timely film in the franchise. I just wish that, it was executed a little bit better. Not even just the ending, but like for the CGI, some of the writing choices I wasn't really fucking with.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on.
I
Yeah,
just think that there was just some decisions made, especially near the end. I was just like, okay, y'all could have let Indy do this. Y'all could have let Indy had some more action or had a little bit more to do in this scene.
Mhm.
Antonio Banderas was fucking wasted.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like some of the pacing, especially in the second act, does drag considerably. But as a finale for this franchise, it was decent. I actually quite thoroughly enjoyed it. And I really thought this was a great send off for this character. As a finale, I think it could have been better, but I
Mhm.
still think that it's good and decent enough because the way they the way they set up the send off for the character, I think is very satisfying.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely, man.
saying? So yeah, I went out the theater. I was like, okay, that was refreshing. I didn't think I needed that, but I did.
Mhm.
It's a good movie. I
I feel you
enjoyed
on
it.
that. I think one of my big concerns when I went into this movie was the fact that we all kind of anticipated time travel to be involved with this because of the de aging
Absolutely.
stuff involved and because it's the dial of destiny. Um, I'm very thrilled that time travel, how it's handled in this movie. That the plot isn't let's go time travel. This isn't the ultimate goal right here. Like, yeah, Mads Mikkelsen's
So
this Nazi little. It's not even an army. It's a little fucking gaggle of people want to go ahead and travel through time to kind of overtake Hitler and establish or continue on Nazi Germany. Like, of course, that is the villain's main plot for him. However, I'm really glad that the time travel sequence is at the very end for
I
this bit.
agree.
That it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. I do think the punch from his his goddaughter, excuse me, I do think that whole bit is a little bit sudden, a little bit rushed.
Yeah.
It feels like, okay, we're not quite sure how we're going to get out of this. I do kind of wish we had that Indiana moment like we had between father and son in Last
Yeah, that
Crusade.
would have been so much better.
Something like that, absolutely. But at the same time, the weight of what comes next doesn't deteriorate that for me. Seeing Marion come back and she's like, "Are you really back this time? Or are you back now?" And kind of seeing that their relationship, their marriage can be rekindled going on forward. You also mentioned Harrison gives an emotional performance in this, and yeah, man, like I've never had an Indiana Jones movie that makes me emotional before. When it's revealed towards like the halfway mark of this film what happens to his son Mutt, that had me in tears, man. That's a great fucking scene right there.
that's a really good performance on Harrison
Absolutely.
Ford's
That's a
part. That because
powerful
that
scene.
moved me too. And I'm someone who doesn't like Mutt. Like I could care less if Mutt died. And then, but hearing how it affected Indy is
Mm-hmm.
what got me, not actually Mutt's death.
Exactly.
I agree though, man. And
That's
I
he
think
was good, man.
I think a lot of people who are in your position, Chris, who hate Crystal Skull, feel the same way about this. Because finally, for the first time in this franchise, we're having that emotional weight between losing a character. I mentioned this last time we talked, Indy, how like a lot of the new introducing characters, Short Round, Indy's dad, or Mutt, like they all feel very throwaway at the end of the day. Because it's still we don't see them again. Even with Sean Connery, with Indy's dad, man, we get like a generic fucking just screenshot cropped and framed in Crystal Skull. We don't get time
Always
to mourn it
pissed
all.
me off. Yeah,
You know?
always pissed me off.
Yeah, man. And so like having that performance from Harrison show off that, hey, you know what? This character may not have been for everyone in this last movie. But regardless, he affects the one we all know and love, Indy. And yeah, this may have been a last minute written in character and written in son kind of bullshit situation for a sequel, but at the end of the day, this was a father-son relationship that this guy valued, and it was truly special to see for that moment. He kind of mourns and struggles to talk about Mutt.
Yeah, it also, it's kind of fucked up. Is in my head, I was just like, he couldn't hack it. It was like Indy's been through 2 fucking world wars and survived. I was like, Mutt's no Indy. He couldn't hack it.
Jesus, man. God.
I know, it's fucked up. That's really how I felt, though. I was like, if he was more like Indy, he would have made it turn on.
Speaking of more like Indy, let's go ahead before we talk about what we like and gripes about the movie. Let's talk about the de-aging sequence. I do think this is some of the best de-aging we've seen so far. Lucasfilm continues to improve and more with this. We've seen that with Star Wars Mandalorian, between just from, the finale of season 2 of Luke's return to the Book of Boba Fett episode featuring Luke. We've seen the improvements that this technology has so quickly over the years. In my opinion, the de-aging introduction for this film, Harrison looks fucking great. It has me convinced. This looks like a young Indy. However, what bugs me is his voice, man. That is still old man Harrison.
Yeah. Especially right off the bat when it opens, he sounds extra old, and you kind of ease into it. It kind of gets better, but they should have done something right off the top to take it down, because it's like he's croaking at the top of it.
Yeah, man, it's a croak.
Well, I think they did a good job of kind of pitching it up a little bit to make him sound younger, but it's still Harrison Ford delivering those lines, and he talks like he's 81 years old, and that's exactly how it is, which is hard. It's tricky to do, I guess, and if you speed it up too much, then you lose some of the inflection. We're all running podcasts. We know what happens if you start over editing stuff, right? You completely lose the plot on the way it sounds. So you have to kind of respect that. But yeah, that was probably the worst bit of it for me was the way that it sounded, because I thought that it looked fine. So
yeah, it looks damn good, especially in the low lighting bits. I was really anticipating for it to kind of cover up, issues with the de-aging. But no, man, overall, I'm really impressed with the intro of this film.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Bryce. No, go ahead, Bryce.
I was especially impressed with it just from the standpoint that, we all know, the 4 of us, everyone watching it, maybe not kids, but, anyone who's grown up knows that obviously that's not Harrison Ford. So we're watching it like an eagle, just waiting for it to break. We're like, where am I going to know that they messed up? I'm just watching for that one part right there. So Chris, my question is then, you said you took your kid to see it, who's 12. Did they have any feedback on it, or were they just like, nah, that's just Indiana Jones?
Yeah, well, my younger one liked it, but my older one, he just didn't like it. He was just like, it's not. The opposite. He was like, it's not Indiana Jones. I was like, okay. He just didn't like. He just didn't pass the test for him. He's like, it just doesn't work for me. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Dang,
man. You know what? Listen, man, we're all getting older. You know what I mean? I think we're more sympathetic. When I was 13, would I want to watch an 80-year-old and you know what I mean? Would it think of it at 13? Does it hit you the same as it hits us? You know what I mean? I could kind of get it. You know what I mean? An old guy's an old guy. You're 30.
Yeah.
This guy's literally 70 years old.
They were making fucking old jokes in the last one, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So you're 13, how much are you into somebody who's 70 years older than you? But he loves, original Indiana Jones, Han Solo. You know what I mean? That's old guy. Didn't do it for him.
Dang, man. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Dakari, what are some of your thoughts on that CGI It's not, excuse me, the de-aging bit at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it was a little bit noticeable. You could
Mhm.
definitely tell in some parts, but for the most part, it was very impressive. Very, very impressive. A lot of it was hard to tell if it was de aging because it number one, it actually feels like something straight out of a vintage Indiana Jones flick. Like James Mangold really fucking directed the shit out of this movie and
Mhm.
replicated Spielberg's style almost to a T. Like this felt like something from the Last Crusade era or something like that. Like it was that good. It was awesome. And while you could tell in some parts, and especially with his voice still sounding like old Harrison Ford, for the most part, I ran with it. It was impressive.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Let's go ahead and take a quick second to read some Facebook comments from our Galaxy of Film fan club ran by Director of Fan Relations Shamim. I've made a post the other day after seeing the movie, kind of asking some members their thoughts for this film. So first up, we have comment down below. We got David Rosen from Piecing It Together saying he loved it, so much fun. I do agree with you on that one. This is thankfully a very fun movie, for sure.
It is a very fun.
Very fun.
Absolutely. We got Jake from Galaxy of Film, formerly Mayhem Pictures as well, who says it's mixed, but a fantastic mix, which I can also get behind. We got Dre Mall saying, overall I enjoyed it. Didn't care for the, how can I say, Marty McFly segment. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
Funny hearing after we just talked Flash a few weeks ago, of course. We got Sebastian Lewis. Sebastian was in one of our Star Wars Celebration vlogs. You know, I think actually the first one, the Boon to Eve episode I did. And he's just said, Crystal Skull's crap, waiting for this to hit HBO.
Yeah.
Well, not sure when this is hitting HBO, Sebastian, but
He'll be waiting a long time for that. So.
only the best here. Next, we got Randy Lytle. Dude, Randy Lytle was a teacher at my high school. What a fucking top G, man. I remember when I was in high school, I was a part of the broadcasting class, shooting skits for our like weekly news segment, and Randy Lytle was kind of like our guinea pig. We were able to get him being like any skit we had for Tiger TV. So I fucking love that this guy is in the group and is still listening and supporting our shit, man. Shout out to you, Mr. Lytle.
Hey, man. Hey, Mr.
Shout out
Lytle.
to you.
That's what's up, man.
He commented down below and said, haven't seen it yet. Hopefully it's as good as I remember Harrison Ford being in the franchise. Love the positivity, though, man. Love it.
Yeah.
And then next we got William Kish. He is part of Mayhem Pictures, one of our team members here at Galaxy of Film, saying he felt like it was missing something and it was too long. It's put together well, but I couldn't go as far as calling it bad, but it ended up feeling like a paint-by-numbers movie. Damn. Okay. Wish we had you on this week, Will, so we can hear some of your more in-depth thoughts, but I'll have to get with you later on that one, man. And then last, about an hour ago, we got a comment from Chris Chipman, actually saying, really enjoyed it, solid entry into an overall great franchise. Oh, shit, dude. Just updated.
Okay.
Him and Sebastian are getting into it in the comment section. Talking shit about Crystal Skull. Saying, Crystal Skull was really, really bad, not gonna lie. And then he's saying Crystal Skull is a solid 2 out of 3, a solid 7, and 3/4 of a dumpster fire.
God.
Agreed. You guys are right. You boys are right.
This
Boys
one
are
is
right.
significantly better in my opinion. And then Chris said when you've 2 9.5s, 2 8s, and then the 6 average, and so what? Then he commented down below again. This is Sebastian saying, haven't seen it in years. I'm waiting for HBO Max.
HBO Max doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max.
And then at some point he says it should have finished just like the Fast and Furious franchise, been milked to death. Haven't seen Fast films since 7. No Paul Walker, and I'm not watching. Indy should have finished with The Last Crusade and called it that. Skull wasn't needed, and neither was this. Man, Crystal Skull is great. Fuck all you guys who says otherwise, man.
No Walker, I'm walking.
That's awful.
I'm with you.
So bad. And also we got a comment down below from the legendary Gamer Harold saying, this is an awesome 24-hour podcast episode. That's news to me, buddy, because this is not going to be a 24 hours.
No.
Hate to disappoint you. We'll have to do a 24-hour live stream at some point, actually. That'd be kind of cool.
Like a telethon.
Yeah, man, like UHF telethon. Fuck
Yes, exactly. Well, crazy
Oh
accent.
my god.
Yeah.
Jesus. So Chris, I'm really curious, man. What are some like in-depth things you loved about this movie, or like that ring off the top of your head that make you like this piece?
All right. Just loved. You don't want me to get into what I didn't love.
We'll get to gripes in a second.
Okay. All right. So loved. Aesthetically, it felt very Indiana Jones to me. I liked they switched it up and did like a diving segment, but Tangiers. It captured 1969, late 60s, early 70s, but also felt very indie. Sala, like coming back, he drives a cab in New York. That like made me laugh because it's just he's an Egyptian dude. It's 1969. It's exactly what would have been going on. Yeah, I liked all the beginning. Yeah, man, the beginning was the beginning sequence in 44. I liked the whole setting of it. The effects were 90% great in my opinion. It's definitely we're getting there type of a situation. I liked how the MacGuffin, the dial, it kept in the ways of the other indie MacGuffins where there's like a caveat to it. So you could travel through time, but you can't go wherever you want. You just go right back to where it was created.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. Like, there's always like this weird little like you could have eternal life, but you can't cross this seal. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like Indiana Jones treasure thing to it. I liked that it went back and it was in New York City. The whole look of the parade was cool. It had like a very washed out it wasn't the 40s, but it felt 40s to me. It felt very nostalgic-y, like almost like a Radio Days or Christmas Story. Like one of those type of, it's just like it kind of like had a cool look to it. I liked the whole parade stuff. Even the look of the CIA agent that was good. The woman, like she just had that cool 1969. You know what I mean? Like I just had a cool look about her.
Collar and shit, man.
Yeah, the little tight fro, she looked good. I like that. Yeah. Oh, and I liked Teddy a lot. I liked that kid. I hear people shitting on this kid. I'm like, I don't know. I liked him. He was a little street rat, always stealing something. Lifts Indy's watch. He steals the key. Chains that big fucking beefy dude to the fucking grate. I love that. Like that was cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, I liked it just fucking killed me at the end. When Mads Mikkelsen and fucking Southern Fried Barbecue guy, when they're going down, they look at each other and it's like the shot in the Blues Brothers. He's like, I always loved you. The two Nazis. It's literally the same shot. And I turned to my son, my 13-year-old son that didn't like the movie. I was like, I always loved you. And he got it and he fucking died laughing. But they literally went with that shot. Like they look at each other. So like I don't know if that was meant to be there, but if it was not lost on yours truly. Yeah, the whole end with like the hanging up of the hat is like very literal. Hanging up the hat. It was a cute little shot, and they went with the tight little, fucking framing, the fade in, the fade out into the black of it. Like it was cute. I almost made me wish they didn't just do that on the fucking Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Because, this has been in production a lot longer than the fucking Mandalorian. So I kind of wish somebody at Lucasfilm, had, there was a red flag raised, like, oh, they're doing that over there in the Indy movie. Because I think it would have bit more. It would have felt more like you know,
Yeah.
like harken back to an old school movie thing, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I overall, like I said, I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. I liked it. I'll watch it again. I'd like to actually watch it again. If I don't know if I'll get a chance to see it in the theater again. There's a lot of fucking movies coming out.
Yeah, this
But
summer's fucking packed, man. We've been talking
chock
about
full of
that.
movies,
Yeah.
man. So if I can see it again, and I'd like to support, you know what I mean? Like whatever my little bit is, I'd
Mhm.
like to support because, you know, I feel like this movie's taking a beating, and I don't like to see Indy getting like fucking kicked when he's down. It really pisses me off a little bit. Like it's that's Indy, man. Like
Mhm.
fucking show a little respect here. Even if you don't like the character, show Harrison some fucking respect. Like just stop, stop trying to throw this in people's faces. You
I
know,
feel you.
it's yeah, but you know, hey, it's what we got. And I think it's kind of cool. I wish the fucking merch was back into full gear. They were releasing the
Mhm.
toys for a little bit. Now they're like literally today up in Walmart, like half off. People posting clearance pictures. I'm like, fuck, they didn't give these toys a chance.
Yeah, you were talking about how great those the adventure series, right? I think they're called.
Yeah, you know, all these toys, you know, it's really hard when you can't make a majority of the villains because they're either culturally insensitive or just like straight up fascist. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You can't make action figures of those right now, and like a lot of Lego sets aren't happening, and like a lot of you know, just a lot of things that normally would have been like for I'm not like normally like that's good. I mean like for a movie
Yeah,
like
yeah,
would
yeah.
normally have toys and stuff like that. It's you can't do it with these particular movies. Um that sucks. That's what are you gonna do, you know?
Uh,
That just it is what it is. Like you don't want to play with a Nazi. I don't want to play with a Nazi.
no, or
But
Indy's, secret Nazi girlfriend from Last Crusade.
yeah.
No, I feel you
But
on that though.
yeah, you know what? They could have went a merchandising route, and they missed maybe an opportunity when Mads Mikkelsen at the beginning is taken off that train. Like if you see him now and he's like very robotic and stuff, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
You could have went with like a very like you know weird villain thing that maybe could have been like a toy. But yeah, you can't just make like an SS guy. Okay, to play with it. Like it's kind of fucking wrong.
Brian, what are some things of Dial of Destiny that you really enjoyed about this film?
Well, first, just the next wave of the adventure series. Indiana Jones is going to have a lot of these people. Dr. Voller is going to have Ronaldo. It's going
Oh,
to
they are
have
they.
Dr. Elsa. Yeah, so then
Oh,
the next
okay,
one's
all
coming.
right.
Yep, they're available for pre-order. On a side note, anyone listening wants to get those. What did I like about the movie? I liked a lot of the movie. I really liked the intro bit. I felt like Mangold really kind of captured what Steven Spielberg would have done through that section. It felt very much like a
Absolutely.
Steven Spielberg movie, especially like the chase with kind of through the woods there with Basil Shaw kind of running through there. Like all that stuff felt very Steven Spielberg-y to me.
Mm.
And then you get to kind of the current day kind of timeline, and then it turns into more of this James Mangold story. And you'd mentioned the Ford versus Ferrari and the Logan, and that's pretty much what this is, right? There's a friggin' sweet chase on horseback through this most gorgeous parade
Mm.
that I don't even know how they filmed with all of those people and all of those streamers. I don't even know how they did it. I know how they did it. They spent $300 million doing it. Is how they did it. But you had some amazing chase scenes, and I think that was really kind of a boon having James Mangold who can do that. He can create these chase scenes because then you're not relying on 81-year-old Harrison Ford to
Mm.
pull all of this action off, right? The action can take place in these chases where he can be a little bit more effective. Like his acting is a little bit smaller in scale of what's going on. I like that a lot. There was a lot of it that just looked absolutely gorgeous, but mostly just when I step back and I think about it, I really like kind of the deconstruction of our heroes. Indiana Jones is basically a superhero, is what he is. So to kind of take a film where you're analyzing that character and that character is asking themselves, was it worth being Indiana Jones? Right? At the end of the day, was it worth being Indiana Jones? Should I have just been Henry Jones Jr. just been a teacher? Would it have been better? Would I have, lost my son? Would I have kept my marriage? Would I have been shot 8 times, now 9 times? And that's exactly where he gets to at the end, which is why I think the punch works really, really well, because he was never going to get to that decision talking to Helena about his life. She needed to cold cock him and take him back home. That's what had to happen for Indiana Jones to reunite with Marion and to figure out at the end that he was going to take the hat back and he was still going to be Indiana Jones. And I thought it was brilliant.
That's fair.
I like that take.
I liked it.
That's some good shit, man. Absolutely.
Also the shot underwater where Ronaldo's standing on that rift and he looks up and you can see the boat from underneath and the sun's coming in. That looked glorious.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier, Chris. I fucking love that diving sequence. It's such a
it was a cool little
kind of left field, but it's so cool.
Yeah, it was different. I guess because of the time, you can't really I guess in the 30s you had those big giant diving suits. They had done a comic. Dark Horse did a comic called Indiana Jones and the Shrine of the Sea Devil, done by Gary Gianni. He did another book called Monster Man. Beautiful artist, beautiful, really great shit. And it was all about him diving to this undersea temple, and he's wearing those big, you know what I mean, like one of those big diving bell suits, with the big weighted feet, and he's down there, and he's fighting like a giant octopus, and he's eventually Amelia Earhart saves his life. It's it's complete Indiana Jones craziness, but it's the only other time I've really seen him have any kind of a water thing. And this is a comic book. It doesn't, it doesn't, it's not a movie, so it's not as, so I really dug that. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I guess it was a cool way for them to, because there were no snakes in this movie. The eels were the closest things. Mm-hmm. It was a good way to get that in there, because this is the only Indiana Jones movie to not feature a single snake. I was like, that's pretty wild.
It's refreshing too, honestly.
Yeah, I was okay with it. And I said, I liked how the eels kind of took that place, and it kind of just took snakes but elevated them. Put them underwater rather. And it really, it makes sense. It would fuck with him the same way. It's just an underwater snake. So I thought I appreciated that little bit. Yeah, man, that was a very cool sequence. And you're right, Antonio Banderas was very wasted. He was cool though. He was cool. He really you did fall in love with him for a second, and then when he got shot, it really meant something.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was saying just for a split second, but then
just for a split second. But he did his job. He made you care when he got shot. Most people, you come in for 5 minutes, you don't give a fuck if that guy gets shot. When he got shot, I was like, oh fuck! He was good. He was really good.
Well, and I think it was important, waste or not. I don't really see it that way. You bring an actor in to play a role, whether it's Antonio Banderas or Joe Schmo from Central Casting. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but his death, I think, was important then for the development of Helena, right? She's kind of realizing that these things do have consequences that we're doing right now. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Man. Absolutely,
that's true. That's probably what made her character kind of grow a little bit, because she started off as a criminal, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And as the movie goes on, she starts to kind of grow out of those habits, unconsciously, as she goes along the journey with Indy. Because that teaches her so much about not only her upbringing, but where she comes from and where all this love for archaeology originates from.
Absolutely,
yeah.
bro. Absolutely. Hold on, we got a couple comments real quick here from Dr. Mad Studios saying, hi, folks. Greeting from Britain.
Yo.
Oh, what's up, man?
Hey.
Greetings. That's far. I've already seen Indiana Jones and the Isle of Destiny with my dad. Both of us personally enjoyed it. Love the diving scene. It was different. Reminded me of the James Bond film Thunderball, which featured a lot of underwater scenes.
Yeah.
100% agree. 100% agree, man. Dakari, what are some other things of this film you like off the top of your head?
Some of the other things I felt I liked?
Yes.
I like that it felt like an actual Indiana Jones movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like that this felt like a proper follow-up to Last Crusade.
Oh, okay.
Crystal Skull, as a follow up to that movie, you know what I'm saying? Because so many things was glossed over from that movie. You just feel like, okay, is this like a follow up, or is this just an Indiana Jones movie just to be an Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This movie actually feels like an Indiana Jones movie for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I respect it so much. I didn't think I would actually like it as much as I did, but this is way better than Crystal Skull. It does a lot of things better than Crystal Skull. Visually, the movie looks a lot better than Crystal Skull, even though there's
Yeah.
hella CGI, hella noticeable sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is in camera, and due to that fact, the CGI does kind of blend pretty well. Even if it's a bit noticeable.
Man. Those monkeys
even-
looked pretty awesome in Crystal Skull.
Oh God! Yeah, see, that was the problem. Is they just made us like a CG jungle. Like they didn't even like it. Just looks CG. Where Dial of Destiny, yeah, they shot on locations and kind of like
Exactly.
added CG to the shots. Yeah,
Bro, everything in that jungle scene looked absolutely artificial and absolutely fake. Except for those cargo trucks or whatever they was driving. Everything looked artificial in that scene. I'm sorry, I don't know what you see. Everything just looked really fucking bad.
Ah,
Agreed.
man, I don't know what you're talking about. I can almost
man,
feel the monkeys reaching out for me, swinging.
The cars and the action and the actors looked the best in the scene. That doesn't make any sense. Come on.
No, bro, everything was just so green screened, and it was obvious. With this movie, they didn't make it too obvious because there's not an over reliance of CGI and green screen in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even though there is some use of it, you can tell it's not an over reliance of it because they are trying to bring back the aesthetic that was established in the first three movies.
Mm-hmm.
And James Mangold is a competent enough director to do that, and I think he did a really good job. I really like the score. The score, I think, is fucking brilliant.
Dude. The final is this the final John Williams score we're getting to now?
I don't think so.
Nah, I think
don't think-
I think you went back on that. I think he said that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not really.
This might
so.
be the final Indiana Jones score, most definitely. But I don't think this is the final John Williams.
man, I wish it did something for me. I'm jealous. It didn't do anything for me.
A lot of it did for me. A lot of it did.
There was like I appreciate callback stuff, but there was a lot of leaning on old themes, like the motorcycle chase scene in the beginning. There was a lot of the same themes played from the Last Crusade motorcycle
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
like piece. You know what I mean? There's like throughout here and there. There's just like a lot of like I don't know, like former musical notes and motifs that just going off. And like I said, I appreciate a callback, but a lot of it seemed. Bringing back the Ghostbusters Afterlife, it felt like that for me. Like I liked the stuff that was built upon the original score, but then they just were replaying stuff from the original score, like this, like the music from when the terror dogs chasing Louis Tully around. They're playing that as they're driving down the street shooting. It was just like wasn't relevant. So I don't know why it was ever reused. It reminded me of that, and I just got kind of like it hit a sour note for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think a lot of it did work because there's some new themes in there that I actually do think work, especially Helena's theme. I think is beautiful.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I know.
I
I wish it did.
I don't
The
know,
violin and everything. I wish it did.
It worked for me. It worked for the story that this was trying to tell, and I think it worked for the character because there's this overarching dilemma that the character kind of just is battling on the inside. You don't really see her admit to it face to face with Indy. You don't even see her fully kind of just come out and come to terms with the journey that she's going on. But I feel like that theme represents her overarching personality in the entire movie. Because she starts off as this criminal, but then the more she kind of gets acquainted with Indiana Jones and the journey that they're on, I think the more humble she becomes.
Yeah, she's Han Solo basically.
Pretty much. you know.
Fuck.
But yeah, it was the score. I really dug the cinematography. The performances were all around great. I think this might be Harrison Ford's best performance as Indiana Jones.
Okay.
I think
Wow.
it might. I think it might. This and Last Crusade are two of my favorite Indiana Jones performances, and I might be a little bit biased. I might even say Raiders over Last Crusade performance wise when it comes to Indy, but this might be his best.
Okay, man.
Wow.
I feel you on
This
that.
this this might be like for him to still pull this role off at 80 years old
Hmm.
says so much and just says a lot about his devotion to the character.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and I also did say that I had some gripes with the writing and second that kind of drags,
Well, we're
but
gonna get to the gripes in a second. Hold on. Save
yeah,
the gripes for a moment. Save the
yeah,
gripes.
yeah. But I was gonna get to that. But I'm just saying I did like how they wrapped up the movie. The ending
Okay.
was one of my favorite parts of the entire movie. You know, even though it felt a little bit sudden with the punch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Brian brought up a good point, and he made a great analogy for it. So it kind of made me appreciation. It kind of made me appreciate it a little bit more than I did. Yeah, that's really all I could think of as regards to things I did like.
Okay, man. That's fair. Um, one thing I didn't hear anyone talk about that I'll go ahead and touch on real quick. One thing I loved about this movie, is the goddaughter Helena, man. Throughout this whole piece, I was really worried going into this movie, and I started to compare it to the last two Die Hard movies.
Oh
How
God,
one's focusing on the
Oh.
son, the next one's on the daughter, just kind of both thrown out of left field. Um, Especially with like neither of them being seen in the same movie at the same time, kind of deal. Because obviously we
right.
kind of anticipated Shia was not going to be in this movie, unfortunately. I'm very thankful that her role in this movie doesn't just replace Mutt. That she feels very much like her own character, and throughout this, I'm not feeling like Indy has something to make up for. You know, where he feels like, oh, where what's the best way to word this? I don't feel him trying to be the parental figure for her necessarily. Like at first when he realizes who she is and what's going on, it's like, oh, there's that connection here. Yeah, I'm interested in having this relationship with you still. But it's not unlike an overbearing "I'm your dad" moment. Like I'm not hearing that the corny jokes we hear in Crystal Skull, where I think he does say like, "Oh, I'm your dad," and start flirting back and forth with Marion in front of Mutt.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like you're replacing that kind of like role of a child, which I'm really thankful for.
I agree. You gotta admit, the wombat's kind of like annoying.
The wombat
It's
thing is
kind of,
annoying, yeah.
it's kind of like really forced in. Like, come on, wombat. Like, right. Like,
You're not wrong about that, man. I think that's the
yeah,
closest it gets to crossing that line.
I'm
yeah,
gonna go.
yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a huge limb right here and say that Harrison Ford started calling her that on set. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. He started calling her that on set, and then said, "That's what I'm going to call you in the movie."
Yeah,
I
I can see
guarantee
it,
that's what
man.
happened.
It's acceptable only under those circumstances, in my opinion.
I can
Wombat
100% see
Shaw.
that real quick. Before we start talking about gripes, let's go ahead and take a look at the comment section again real quick. Again, from Dr. Matt's studio. I'm fortunate enough to have been to one of the filming locations for the new indie film, the Yorkshire Moors Railway. It was used in the opening in 1944. The steam loco used in the film was actually a 9F. Those were built between 1956 and 1960 and made seem unauthentic using a British railway steam loco, but the reason why they did it for this is because most of the Germany's locos have been either destroyed or have been destroyed during World War II or placed on static display in museums for decades, never to run again. Then also got another comment from him saying, The Last Crusade is my personal favorite indie film. Very much a father and son flick. I even have a replica of the Grail Diary. That's fucking cool, man.
I
That's
have
pretty
one
sick.
of those. I never opened it though.
Oh, of the Grail?
Yeah,
Or
I
the
never
Diary,
opened.
excuse me? Dang, man. I'll be busting it out. Just busting it out. Hold on, man. While you're busting that, I gotta bust out this glass too real quick.
Yeah.
Sick, man. That's dope. Also being said from a lot of the New York scenes of Dial of Destiny were filmed in Scotland. That answers your question right there, Brian.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But we also got Tone Dog in the house saying hello to Galaxy of Film. What's going on, man? Huge supporter during all of the Ken Dog project and that big push for it. And another comment from Harold saying Galaxy of Film is just always so cool. Harold, you're so cool, bro. You're so cool. What a fucking G. But that's that's sick though. Chris, did you by any chance, because you went to the Alamo for this as well, obviously, did you get the
Yeah.
Mondo glass? Because I had to pick one up.
No, I picked one up for my buddy when because I bought our tickets. I don't do the glasses.
Really?
I just ran out of room for glasses a long time ago. I got like tons of Star Wars and every kind of beer and every glass. Like, yeah, I would just always get like sets of like liquor that came with glasses. Like, I have tons and tons and tons of glasses. That kind of stopped. I was actually hoping that they would put out like a art of book, like they were doing like the Star Wars sequels, and like even like the Solo movie and Rogue One got one of those. So I was like, oh come on, but yeah, it doesn't look like they are, and I'm like, bleh. But like it's the only like type of like non-toy merch I'd be into.
I feel you on that, man.
Movies anymore, yeah.
Let's go ahead and start talking about gripes of Dial of Destiny. Brian, you're up first, man. What did you not like about this movie, if anything?
So really my gripes are pretty minor. I didn't really notice any, like, I've seen a lot of people, talk about, CGI that, was pretty noticeable. I don't really recall any of that, to be completely honest. My IMAX screen looked pretty good, I thought. So no real gripe there. I would have liked just something to tell us why he was teaching in New York. I don't think they ever really addressed that, because we leave Crystal Skull and he's just promoted to dean of the college in California. So why is he in New York? Something there would have been nice. It could have been, Marion got a sweet job and said, Andy, pack your bags, we're going to New York. That would have been cool. Just something to tell, to say why he ended up in New York, I thought would have been pretty good. No, other than that, I don't really have much in the way of gripes. Wombat was a little silly, I guess, but I thought it was fine. I mean, it just sounded like an old gruff Godfather, I guess to that. And I don't know. That was really it. That was my big major gripe. Now, coming out of the theater, and obviously you have that very emotional kind of moment with Marion there at the very tail end. Coming out of the theater, I was like, would I have liked to have more Marion in the movie? But I've since kind of thought about that, and I think that kind of the amount we got of her was pretty much perfect in my eyes. I don't think that you could have told this story if she would have really been a major player within it. So I thought that was handled really well, which is what I always do here on Galaxy of Film. Max, I always take my gripes and turn them into positivity. So no, not really much gripes. Really, I mean, you could nitpick a little bit or be like, I wish that line was a little bit different or something like that. But in the overall scheme of the movie, there was nothing that I can point at and be like, man, I really wish that was different. So
okay, man, I feel you. For me, my biggest gripe with this is the fact there's just not enough whip in this, man. Like, I don't know, there's only like 2 or 3 scenes where he busted out.
I was thinking that too, but I was also thinking, I was like, he's old, like he can't really swing around on it, so that takes out half of the whip ability. You know what I mean? Like, some of it's the attack, but some of it's just like using it to swing around off of things.
And it's the greatest scene there. Then they're in Tangier at that poker table bar, and he starts swinging around. They all just pull guns on him, and he has to drop to the floor. I thought that was great. That was so great.
Love that bit, man. But yeah, I don't know. Need a little bit more whip. Maybe throw us back out or something mid-scene. Oh boy, Dakari, what are your gripes of Dial of Destiny, if you have any?
Okay, I do feel like the second act drags quite a bit. It really kind of takes a lot for things to really get going. You get to the final act. It feels, a lot of it feels stretched out. And the movie does take its time. It really takes its time to not only get us into the current state of Indiana Jones's character, but the current state of the world at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it really takes its time to really sink us into what this movie's going for, and that could be to the film's fault. I feel as if they could have andied up the pace just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it's not really a detriment because I understand why they did it. But that's also a gripe. And then some of the CGI is somewhat noticeable. And I didn't really care for Teddy. He was just kind of there to be like this short round 2.0 that have as much character or charisma as short round. He was just there to be Teddy. There wasn't really much to him in this movie. And I hated the fact that they killed off Antonio Banderas, but I understood why they did it. And yeah, just the kind of sudden transition into the end of the movie still kind of bothers me just a little bit. I mean, that's pretty much it. And some of the writing choices I wasn't really a fan of. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, man. Okay, what about you, Chris? What are your gripes with the Dial of Destiny?
This is gonna sound petty, but right off the bat, the Paramount logo, not there's no mountain.
Oh God!
Yeah, I know, but it just kind of like it's a thing, and it just like it's not there. It's. I also felt the same way with the Star Wars sequels taking away the 20th Century Fox. Like I'm so used to seeing it 8 billion times, and it's not there. It's odd. But it didn't ruin it, and just like I said, it's a very petty gripe. Some of my not so petty gripes. I think it was very apparent that it was stitched together from many reshoots. That there were certain things that should have either just been cut out because they just didn't go anywhere. Like I don't know why they made Final Cut. Like Indy being like wanted for murder. Like where did that go? Like
that didn't go anywhere.
You got nothing at the end. I'm not kidding. I'm watching the whole movie thinking like, remember I told you earlier, like I thought he was gonna die at the end of this movie. I thought they were gonna go for it. And I was like, fuck, he's gonna die and the world's gonna remember him as a murderer. That's it. And then like it didn't really go anywhere. And I guess you could like, wank it off to like, fan wank it to like, I guess, they figured it all out that the Nazi CIA did it, not the regular CIA. But you got to draw your own conclusion. They should have just been something of maybe when he woke up of like Helen is saying like, you're here. Here's the destiny. Here's the dial. Everybody's safe. Here's Sam, and here's Mary, and here's Pippin. It was like kind of that. But it was like, and by the way, we got your name cleared, Indy. And he's like, oh yeah, great. Like I'm not gonna go to jail because he's they think he's a murderer. Multiple people. It was very dark. His colleagues getting like wiped out. It's very odd. Like usually you don't see that in an Indiana Jones movie. Many like just like
all. It was dark as
bystander. Yeah, there was a lot of darkness to it with that type of stuff. Fucking Colonel Captain Kentucky Fried Chicken. I hate that fucking guy. Vulgar's sidekick. I hate him from Logan. I just hate his southern face and mouth and everything about the guy. And I got no problem with the South. It's just that guy, like, just he can't play anything other than like, Mama says alligators ornery. Like he can't play anything other.
Dude, he looks like the guy from Narcos.
I never watched any Narcos.
He looks like Pedro's right hand man in Narcos. It bugs me so much, dude.
I don't like that actor. I don't like him. I didn't like him in Logan. I didn't like him in this. From what I know, isn't he like Mangold's boy? That's why like he puts him in things.
Something like that, man.
Something weird. I just didn't think he's that great of an actor to be put in such a big role, like the second command of the villain. I like the big beef man better than him. That big giant guy.
Me too. Me too.
That guy was great. Yeah, he was a good villain. Like he hit Indy, and like Indy was like bump, like that was great. Like
There's one pinpoint I like to make. So usually,
yeah,
in all the Indiana Jones movies, they have him fight this big guy.
yeah.
It happened in Raiders. It happened in Temple of Doom. It happened in Last Crusade. It kind of sort of happened in Crystal Skull.
Yeah, the ant guy was a big guy.
Yeah. It happened in Crystal Skull. It didn't happen in this movie, but I understood why it didn't happen because the man's fucking 70 years old. What does he look like fighting a big ass dude that's younger than him?
Yeah.
Like, I understood why it didn't happen, even though I wanted it to so bad.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, I get it.
This dude might have been the biggest of the big dudes. He was definitely the biggest big dude I've ever seen in my life.
He was huge.
Well, in fairness, he looked exactly how he looked in Raiders when he fought the big guy. He hit the big guy, and then the big guy hit him, knocked him off of his feet. Luckily, that airplane propeller was there, because otherwise, Indy was done for.
Oh, he would have been, just completely destroyed. Yeah, well, it's that luck.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to the darkness, and also the luck, it kind of played into it. Him trying to, like, at the beginning, like, trying to, like, not die in a noose is so dark.
I like that.
That was
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
Yeah, it was that Indiana
crazy.
Jones luck of him just being, like, flipped around. And, like, it was like...
Hey, man, that's that Spielberg shit.
Yes, that was
That's
so
Spielberg
Spielbergian. That was so...
James Mangold, I got to give it to you. You did that, man.
Yeah, I think he did a good job. I really did. Like
Absolutely.
I said, for a modern action flick, a modern adventure flick, it works for me. I wish some of the edits were still more like a 80s movie if you're gonna go that route. But like I said, it's a modern. You're going from you're pandering to modern audience. What can you do? You can't cut a movie like you would in 1984. You know, like
Right.
as much as I'd like to see it. Other gripes. Like I said, that really pissed me off. That whole fucking murder thing. Just cut that out completely. The whole good CIA coming in, dude with the crutches. I don't know what. Okay, who are you? Bye. All right, nice to meet you. What the fuck happened? I don't know. What was the point of that? Like, I don't know. There's just a little too much with all that stuff. I liked what's his name? The bad guy. I forgot his name. I keep thinking Vogel.
Dr. Voller.
Voller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Voller.
All right. It's not Vogel's Crusade, right? All right, so Voller, I liked his whole, like, I liked how you saw him right off the bat. He's a Nazi dude. He's collecting stuff for Hitler. He's doing the whole thing. And then later on, he's being, like, celebrated. He's getting, like, awards by the president, and, like, to show, like, how, like, deep that shit really did infiltrate this country. Like, those guys working on the space program and everything like that. I thought that was extraordinary that they put that in there. Yeah, that whole, what do they call that? There's a whole name for it. I forgot.
Yeah, it's like Operation Matchstick or something.
Something like that. Yeah,
or
it's got like
Matchbook or something like that, where they brought all the Nazi scientists and turned them into American scientists now.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool that they shone some light on that. Something I did not like is in, like, it's kind of like an Indiana Jones thing where, like, a historical event is happening and he kind of could have been a part of it, but there's nothing to really stand out to make it known in the history books or televised or anything like that. It still kind of rolls with it like it's kind of believable. There could have been Indiana Jones involved in all this. Except a giant parade in the city with gunshots, a guy riding around on a horse. Like, that's something that was actually documented. So that literally takes us out of, like, possible Indiana Jones could have been our time line. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? Like, that's the only thing that kind of deviates from reality. But I know it's not reality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, like, you know, that would have been all over. You would have seen that. You would see clips of that. It would be newspaper headlines of like all that shit going on, you know?
Yeah, I feel him. Almost like a
murderer rides horse through parade.
Yeah, murderer. Murderer. Old, like, He basically went postal. There was a term. This might be lost on younger people because there's fucking shootings every other minute in this country. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But back when I was younger, right, you could probably test this in the '90s. Like that shit, that really didn't happen. And one guy, a postal worker, went nuts and like shot up the whole post office and killed a bunch of people and probably himself, I think, if I remember correctly. And it gained the term going postal. That was like, that was a term in the '90s. Like, so if you saw like a guy having a bad day at work, like, watch out, he's going postal, like falling down. That was like a new thing.
Okay.
Like that didn't happen every other second of the day.
I thought you
like
were
it does
talking
now.
about the fucking Uwe Boll movie for a second, man. Postal.
No. Going postal was a term. It was like a colloquialism for like shooting up a place, going nuts and killing all your coworkers.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
So essentially, it made the movie kind of made it look like Indiana Jones, this old college professor, went postal. They forced him into retirement. He wasn't even done with his like. He wasn't even done with that lesson. He still had other shit to teach. They forced him into retirement. He killed them all and rode away on a horse and slipped out of the country.
That's just
by
wild.
Sala.
By Sala.
I said no camels. These are 5 camels.
Jesus Christ. Let's go ahead before we get our final comments. Look at the chat in real quick. From Tone Dial, we got just getting out or doing well, just got off work, finally able to catch up on the podcast. Glad to have you here, man. Glad to get you here last minute to catch up on us. We got a whole bunch from Dr. Mad's studio. All the filming they did in Britain was done about 2 years ago, even though a lot of it was kept under wraps at the time. I did keep track of the locations they were filming. To be fair, Indiana Jones has never had a massive worldwide expanded universe compared to the likes of Star Wars. But both are completely different genres despite being made by Lucasfilm. Even when it comes to the merchandise, it never sold as much as Star Wars.
Yeah.
Did you know Indy never uses his revolver in Crystal Skull? Not once. Quite a lot of people get killed in Dawn of Destiny, like some of the people at the college. That's true too. Yeah. Yeah, because they just fucking start shooting people, man. One of the university or the professors. Fuck.
That's what I just said. They're gonna. That's what he's charged with the murder of.
It's wild,
the
man.
secretary. Yeah, cold-blooded.
That's what he's being charged of. He looks like that. What I just said, fucking Max. He looks like a guy that was fucking went nuts at work and killed all of his coworkers. It was never resolved.
And then he left a giant bloody handprint on the phone receiver.
What the fuck? Yeah, like.
See, that's
Right?
That's another plot hole. That's another aspect of the writing.
No. Indiana Jones is like a government agent. He's fine. Don't worry about it. Stop thinking about it so
remember
much.
that in Crystal Skull, man, where the fucking CIA grabs him after the Nuketown bit? He is an agent. You're right, man.
Yeah, he good.
Oh yeah, well they talk about it. Yeah, they talk about him being a spy in the fucking war, and that's what you saw there. He was a spy. He was a spy in World War One. Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, man. He was a spy. Yeah. He was. He's a fucking spy. And when he's during wartime, Indiana Jones is a spy.
That's
fucking
right.
wild,
See?
man.
Yeah.
All makes sense. That's why he was in New York. He was going undercover.
He was on the cover. Yeah.
See,
Wow, okay.
it's all clear now. All right.
Our last comment from Dr. Majestia says, "Gonna call it a night now. Cheerio, folks. Stay safe and take care." Cheerio to you too, my good man. Thank you for stopping by. It's been a great time having you here in the fucking chat, keeping it alive, man. Good to hear some more facts about our favorite adventurer coming to play for sure. So guys, about time for that part of the show. We go ahead and give our final comments and ratings for Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. Brian, I want you up first, man. What are your final comments and ratings on this?
My final comment is that I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really great kind of way to wrap up this character that we loved. You look at a lot of the comments, and people that are negative on it say that it lost the Spielberg touch, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because at the end, if it said it was just directed by Steven Spielberg, I would have believed you. That makes sense to me. A lot of people say that it's not as light and jokey as the original ones, and to that I say, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was light and jokey, and it got trashed for being light and jokey, right? So what is it? What do you want? You can't please everyone, but it definitely pleased me. I liked it a lot. I thought that it was like I said, it was a really good conclusion. I think that it had the benefit. I see people saying, "Well, Lucasfilm, Episode 9, stupid, so this was better than that at least."
Oh
Episode
God.
9, not to go off on a whole tangent here, but Star Wars has to continue on past
Mhm.
Episode 9 in some fashion. Indiana Jones probably is done now, right? They can literally close the book on it now. They didn't have to
Yeah.
leave any doors open. It didn't have to check any boxes. It didn't have to do any of this. They could just look at Indiana Jones as a character and conclude his story. And I think that that's what they did. And I thought that it was great. And I give it a best spin on the way to Coruscant.
Very nicely put, Brian. Fuck
That's
yeah,
my
man.
first thought. All right.
Dakari, man, what is your final comments and ratings on the Dial of the Destiny?
Oh, okay. So, like I said, my gripes with this film goes down to some of the writing choices that I wasn't a fan of. Some of the CGI is a little bit noticeable. Second act dragging considerably, and the way they kind of segue into the final scene, which I felt was a bit sudden. Still, other than that, I think this is a good Indiana Jones movie, and I'm really surprised to say that because I was very skeptical going into this movie and knowing how I felt about Crystal Skull, even though I don't hate Crystal Skull at all. I just don't. I just don't think that it's on par with those first three movies by any means.
Mm.
But what this movie did, it was its own thing. It didn't try to step outside of its lane. It really it focused on something, and it just fell through with it. It didn't really try to be anything else. It tried to be this last chronicle in the adventures of Indiana Jones that we would see.
Yeah.
And I think it was executed really well. I think there's a message that I gathered from this film. You probably saw this in my review I wrote for Letterboxd. Take control of your passion. Don't let your passion take control of you. It's in your moments of decision that your destiny is formed. Time is of the essence. Dr. Jones, he's witnessed many of his colleagues lose themselves and become very obsessive and just hell bent over tangible items of history. Witness his own father's obsession over the Holy Grail. As much as we want to wrap ourselves into what we become enamored with, there's a whole life ahead of us on the other side that we seem to unconsciously neglect. Our passions become objects of lust, and we all know that's a deadly sin. So, although these themes have been explored in prior films, this film had a sense of finality and closure with it that reminded me why this character is so important to so many people worldwide. And even without Spielberg in a director's career, I think I had a great experience watching this movie. Even with the qualms, James Mangold is one of the best directors working today. He captured the magic of the franchise while capturing the majesty of Spielberg so well that there was times where I was watching this movie, I was just like, did James Mangold really direct this? And when the movie ended and I saw directed by James Mangold, I was just like, oh shit, damn. This guy did a fantastic job directing this movie. I couldn't even tell. You know what I'm saying? And some of the action sequences are some of the best in this entire series. The performances are fantastic, especially from Harrison Ford. The visuals are really good for the most part, and John Williams has a really great score, in my opinion. Even though I do have faults, I have qualms with it. This is far from a perfect film. As the finale for this franchise, I think it's good, but I think it's a fantastic send-off to this character, and I have a very fond appreciation for it. And I'm giving this a Naboo on the way to best bet.
Very nicely put, man. Very nicely put. Chris, I'm very, very anxious to hear your rating on this one, man.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, it's not as good as the first three, but it's better than Skull. I liked it. It's a
Way better
fun
than Skull.
time. Yeah, it is way better than Skull. Is it the best send-off for the character? I don't know. At this point, like, Indy's ingrained in our lives. It's subjective what you think the best ending for this character is going to be. It's too hard now to make it a universal thing. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? They took a safe approach. him and Marion reconciling again. But it was the first time, I really saw Indy like hurt by somebody,
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean, like by a woman or a relationship. You know what I mean? Like it was the first time it was really like, like that he really had feelings about it. So it meant something at the end. Just like I said, everyone has a different send off. I thought they were gonna kill him. In my head, I was okay with Indy dying. I was just
Mhm.
like, well, how are you gonna do it? You know? Um, do I wish he would have lost an eye in this? Yes. And made the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles like the old guy canon, because he disappeared, that old guy, and I miss him. George Hall. I miss George Hall. They cut him out of all those young indies. It would have been really cool if that
Would
guy's
have,
eyeball
man. We
popped
got
out.
fucking Harrison in Young Indies. Why not, bro? You know.
You got Harrison, that's right. Um Mystery of the Blues. Yeah, man, it's a solid movie. It does have some problems, like I said, with like plots that don't go anywhere, or I guess you would think it would have some kind of major ramifications for the character, but it's all stuff that could have been explained that got cut out. That maybe there'll be a director's cut. I don't
Mhm.
know. Apparently, there was a lot. This movie was a lot longer originally. I give it an Naboo. It's
Okay, man.
solid. Yeah, it's solid. It's a good time at the movie theater. I want to see how it holds up at home. I want to see the longevity of it. I want to see, is this some indie movie that I could pop on in the background while I'm, drawing or something, you know what I mean? Working
Mhm.
on something. Is this an indie I could throw on in the background? Does that work for me? Because that's kind of what a lot of like movies have become for me, where it's like, I mean, I gotta get work done, but I kind of want to watch something. Let me put on
Yeah,
something I've seen 8 million times because I could just visualize it in my head.
I get that.
And yeah, and like, it's fucking there's movies out of franchises I love that don't make that cut. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not doing that with Rise of Skywalker. I'm not doing that with fucking Crystal Skull. It's Let's see if Dial of Destiny becomes one of those. I'm dying to rewatch it. I'll tell you that much. Like I had said, I don't know if I could get out to the theater in time before it's gone, but I definitely am dying to watch it again. I need to see it again. Once wasn't enough. So if that's any indication, it's yeah, I dug it. I dug it. But I'm gonna keep it at a Naboo because, like I said, I didn't think it was a bad movie. But there's a lot of loose ends that I don't sit well with loose ends. I
Mhm.
kind of want something major. It could be a dumb loose end, like two friends or whatever, but like a major thing, like it's gonna change your life. You're gonna go to jail or something. Like I think like, give us some kind of explanation of what the fuck happened. Like, come on, like you owe us that. But
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah, Naboo, straight up.
Fair critiques, man. Absolutely. For this one, for me, I'm obviously a big fan of Crystal Skull. I said last episode when we talked to Nia Jones. I love this. I do think there are issues of this movie. And like you said earlier, Chris, it is kind of subjective of what could have happened in what we would prefer to happen over this movie. But for what we got, I think is really solid for the most part. Definitely has a couple plot holes, mainly the whole wanted for murder bits. But this movie could have been a train wreck, and I'm really, really glad it isn't for sure.
I
Yeah,
agree.
This is a
yeah.
Bestman for me. I think I've solid Bestman is pretty fair for it. Um, I adore how this ends, but I do agree as well. Like you said, I wish the Mandalorian didn't just do it because this
I
ending is
know.
pretty special. But for a Lucasfilm fan, from someone who's very self-aware and who's critiquing where the DG or the DH CGI Harrison Ford fucks up, for someone who's like watching out for references nonstop, does just sting a little bit for that last bit.
Mhm.
But overall, really do love Dial of Destiny. And I'm impressed by James Mangold's directing for this more than anything, I think.
I
I
agree.
knew Harrison was going to slip right back into the role. He's been talking about it for fucking years, and even before doing or Dial of Destiny was confirmed, to be a thing. And he's always been very pro Indiana Jones over Han Solo. So we know like they've wanted to do this bit. I knew he was going to give it his all, but I'm so thrilled that Mangold did a hell of a job replicating Spielberg and adding a bits of his own flair into it, like of the chase sequences, for sure. It's a damn good piece, you know. It is a damn good modern adventure film, I feel like. But yeah, man, that's the best one for it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And that wraps up us doing all of Indiana Jones now on the show. Finally.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
we were able to tackle all 5 this year. You know, still got some Star Wars ones to go through later on. Hopefully doing The Empire Strikes Back pretty soon. But yeah, man, it's kind of weird closing a chapter on a Lucasfilm project finally.
Yeah, man.
It's weird as hell. But Dakari, man, I think it's gonna wrap it up for this week, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
You're getting there, bro. You're getting there.
Yeah, I got used to it.
One of these days. But Brian, my good sir, of course, you're always welcome on this podcast again. It's been a pleasure having you on for all of Indiana Jones now. And this is the first time we're finishing out a series fully, too, I believe, on Galaxy of Film. So
That's right, yeah.
Where can our listeners find you in both of your podcasts, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, Max, for having me on. I always have a good time coming on to Galaxy of Film, and definitely, you know, talking about a franchise that is so beloved and so important to, you know, a lot of us who grew up with it and, you know, can see that character through our whole lives and grow with Indiana Jones. You know, I was the same age as Harrison Ford was in Raiders, right? So it's like literally like my entire life has been seeing Indiana Jones. So so if you wanna follow me, if you wanna hear me talk about Dial of Destiny more, we did that on Drink the Movies this week. It's Drink the Movies wherever you're listening to this. And if you want to get some more Star Wars related content, you can check out that podcast. It's Old Republic Podcast. Available wherever you're listening to this. So thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course, man, of course. And we got some very special stuff coming together soon that I can't wait to show all of our viewers, man. It's going to be really, really special and really cool. So a little bit of a tease. Just stay tuned for the fan club if you remember. But Chris, my man, it's been great having you on here, getting you on for 2/3 of our Indiana Jones special for sure. It's been an absolute pleasure. Where can our listeners find you and your podcast, man?
Super Live Adventure. Check out the Super Live Adventure podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. I also have 2 shows coming up. If you're in the New York, New Jersey tri-state area, I will I'm performing with the Impractical Jokers Sweet Treats crew.
Ooh.
That's an evening of comedy and behind the scenes stories from the creative team behind the hit TV show. It's where am I playing this? August 13th, Harbor Square Theater, Harbor Square, New Jersey, and August 30th, Ventnor Square Theater, Ventnor, New Jersey. Go to squaretheaters.com. Mature audiences only. Grab your tickets. And it's gonna be a great night.
Hell yeah, man. Hell
Both
yeah.
nights. We're gonna use the Dial of Destiny. We're gonna go back to the first night on the second night.
Nice.
You guys are all invited. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be great.
Gotta pull up one of your shows one of these days, man. They sound fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's good times. Good times, definitely.
Good shit, man. Good shit.
Give you a front row seat right in the splash zone.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
The splash
oh,
zone.
yeah, right in the oof. Yeah. Bring your rubbers, Max.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Jesus, man.
Good shit, man. Good shit. And speaking of good shit, if you enjoyed this episode of Galaxy of Film, go ahead and check out the YouTube channel and our podcast over on Spotify and Apple, all at Galaxy of Film. Dropping my new short film, Distinguished, next week. I couldn't be more proud of how this is turning out. Post-production is going along very strongly for this. It's looking to be fucking great. Next week on the podcast, we're talking Insidious. You know, obviously, Chris and Brian don't want to be part of that shit, but you know what?
Fuck that.
It's going to be a damn good time.
Chris and I are going to just call each other and talk about Jaws instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let us know. Yeah, when you watch Jaws, I think you 2 guys should watch Jaws and have us 2 guys on and all 4 of us talk about it again.
We'll have to do it, man. As a Spielberg follow-up. Do a non-Spielberg film. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We should do Jaws and Poltergeist.
Let's not.
Oh,
get ahead
I'd
of
love
There you
ourselves.
go.
There
Oh,
you
I'd
go.
love that.
Yeah,
I'd
that'd be
actually, yeah,
See, Dakari's got good ideas. So.
yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. I love both those films.
Let's do it, man. Fuck it. Fuck it. But guys, I think it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week. Be sure if you enjoy the show, consider leaving us an iTunes and Spotify review. It truly does help out the show much more than you can imagine. Subscribe to us here on YouTube at Galaxy of Film Productions. And also, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all at Galaxy of Film. Join the fan club and tune in for next week when we talk about Insidious. I know Danilo's waiting for that one.